It's another edition of KFC Radio on the Barstool Sports Network. We got to get into it. Big topic in the world of comedy and podcasts and the internet and just life in general the last couple of years. Chris D'Elia, the latest to probably seemingly at the time of recording this, find himself in a cancel situation after a lot of DMs with girls who are either underage.
I'll say it, too many.
Too many. I'll be brave enough. It's too many.
You want to come on this podcast? You're gonna get those kind of opinions. Too many girls to creep on there. Way too many of them.
Some of them.
I honestly, do you know how hard it is to make me bored of reading salacious text?
Right.
I got bored. I was like, I get it.
After 3-4 full thumb scrolls, and it's still going. It was like, all right, yeah, point taken. Now, a lot of them are girls 17, 19, some of them 16. I don't know the legality here. I don't know the rules, this, that, the other thing. I do know this looks very bad. Mm-hmm. And it looks at best creepy, at worst, illegal. And
when that's the moon you're shooting for, it's a complete problem. But what I learned today, or last night, I suppose, is that one, D'Elia is pretty fucking creepy. And I'm not going to drive pretty. D'Elia is creepy, okay? Mm-hmm. 2, it is so much weirder having your sexting, flirty texts released when they're with underage girls. Because, if mine released, there'd be weird stuff that I don't want out there. Just weird stuff you say that I don't want out there. But this isn't weird stuff. That's the problem. This is it's very benign. If I was saying it to a 30-year-old girl, she'd be like, "What the? Are you a virgin, dude?" Because that's how he's talking to them.
Right. That makes it all the more creepy because it's how would you lure and seduce a 16-year-old?
Imagine saying to an adult woman, "You want to come over and make out naked?"
Right?
Make out naked. That makes it so much weirder.
My sex is going to be you want to come over and do anal later? Because we're 35 and we've done everything else we can do, And this is hey, let's kiss because you probably have only gone to first base. Oh my God, it's terrible.
TVs and smiley faces. There's no one. Everyone's got weird text to adult people that you don't want out there.
Right.
It's so much creepier because it's you can see the grooming because you can see if I said to you what I say to regular people, you'd be scared because you're a child.
Right. I got to come down to your level and talk like you talk, and that's why I sound like one of your fellow 8th graders.
Dude, that was me, and I was just sending those to of age women. You'd be like, "You are the weirdest dude alive," and
absolutely.
Even now they're underage, it becomes so much weirder.
And and then the obvious, the thing that's really making this, I think, D'Elia is definitely a big enough star that it's news.
I didn't know he was like that.
What do you mean?
I didn't know
he was creepy.
No. Oh, fuck, obviously that, yeah.
Yeah.
But geez, you almost caught me on one there. No, I knew. No, I knew. No, I just didn't know. I knew all those LA podcasters make a lot of money, but I didn't realize he was fucking rich.
Well, no, that I think I don't think he'll be on the news. I don't think your parents would know about him. I think that if you're plugged into podcasts and the internet and stand up, and then the fact that he runs in the Rogan circle, he's definitely a big name, and that's why it's out there and becoming salacious and gossip. But the real kicker here is he's played a pedophile on TV several times now, and it's been a thing that he's kind of joked about, and it just feels like one of those things where he's hiding in plain sight. And then he calls his fans the babies, and that's not that's probably nothing, but it's just all these puzzle pieces start to fit retroactively, and you're like, oh my God, it was right in front of us the whole time. And a lot of that was probably jokes and shit. The clip that's going viral right now, or just being circulated now, is him saying he thinks that Pizzagate rumors and conspiracy theories are stupid. So do I. Right. And that's not, he didn't have that take because he was a pedophile. Now I will say, did you see the comments on that YouTube from 2 months ago?
No.
There was 3 comments in a row. One was you sound suspiciously defensive of this right now. 2 was this rant is not going to age well. And the third one was something like, like when the time comes for you, like we'll remember this sort of thing. So like, and not that YouTube commenters are the barometer here, but it was just like that was out there, and they were kind of weird segments, and was some weird material, the acting roles, the names, the jokes. He's like notoriously private in his personal life, which up until now is okay. It's just like, oh, I don't know, he doesn't want to share his details. Now something like this happens, and everything starts to look like, you look at everything under a microscope, and it's like, oh shit.
That was I was surprised that any of the girls even like that. It should have been like, dude, you're too old for me. And like, you're like gross old. As soon as he was like, email me. Like, what kind of 17-year-old girl is like firing up their Gmail
emails? Yeah.
Right? Like, I don't think I ever used email until like Barstool. Like,
yeah.
I didn't use email in college. I didn't.
Certainly, I don't use any email for like any personal shit. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, it's all business at this point. It's all just like email stuff to be like, email me, girl.
Email me. I guess like it's one of those things like, ooh, it's a celebrity or whatever. But I'd be like, that's insane. I'm not good. I'm not going to email you.
Yeah, no.
I have to turn on notifications now for my email because we're acting like this is a text conversation.
Yeah, like I do this now. I'm on my email less because we're not just sitting in front of a computer all day. And I find emails from like 18 hours ago, 24 hours ago, 48 hours ago that I didn't reply to. If I'm supposed to sext with you and it's going to be 2-day breaks, no, we can't do this.
It's insane.
I mean, especially when you got to like, well, sorry, I can't email you back. Like, I don't have any more screen time. My parents are taking away the iPad. I mean, I will just never understand it. And I know that's how I know it's like a mental sickness, because it's like people with regular brains. It just doesn't make sense to me that it's like hook up with a 21-year-old, which even that as a 40-something, that's going to be weird, but it's going to be okay. Why does it have to be just on the other side of the line? Like, that's where it's got to be something about like, I don't know. That's where it's mental, right? Because it's like, here's a beautiful 22-year-old. There's a hot 17-year-old, and you're gonna pick that. It's just
there were like it's definitely like it's like a sickness, I guess, because there were two in particular that stuck out to me. Where one was like he like liked reminding a girl she was in high school. And we'll throw the allegedly button on all these stuff, but there's literally hundreds of them.
Yeah.
But one of he liked talking about how she was in high school. Like that's
and I did benefit of the doubt in the beginning. I was like, well, did she ever disclose her age? And I think, every guy at this point should know to ask, but you can lie, you can hide it. And these days you don't know how old someone is just by looking at them. So I was like, maybe that's it. And then you see several conversations that are like, but I'm 17 and you're 30 and and he like kept the conversation going. So, you can't even hide behind that one either.
And then the other one was a girl told him she was a virgin, and his eyes lit up, and he said, so if we have sex, it'll hurt.
I mean, and again, like, illegal? I don't know. Super fucking creepy? Most definitely. And that's almost, just as bad in this situation.
This is one, too, where like I was like kind of like you were, because I think you sent me one last night. And I was like, oh boy, that's not good. But there is like, if you DM someone, people don't have their birthdays in their thing. So if you DM one person, it's like, oh, okay, like that was a mess, whatever, fuck it. When there are hundreds of others, what's the number? That's like in like situations like this, I like if you don't believe it, then what number would you have? What's the number it has to hit for you to believe? Right. Like, is it? It's not 4, it's not 20, it's not 30, it's not 50, it's not like. I'm saying hundreds. I don't know if it's exactly hundreds, but
it's dozens. It's for sure dozens.
And by the way, it's all from She Rates Dogs.
I know. Once She Rates Dogs
accounts are getting in, you're out.
Yeah,
you're done.
Once that account puts you on blast and starts to amplify all those other girls, you are cooked. And then I saw the DM said he's deleting things from his Facebook, which I don't know if it's true or not, but if that's the case, if you're on social media and you're witnessing the storm and you're doing shit like deleting, but you're not coming out and saying anything, if that was me or you, I'd immediately be like, this is fucking crazy. Like, I guess when there's proof, you can't say anything. But let's say I was rumored to hook up with underage girls, I would immediately be like, no fucking shot, dude. So like silence is deafening in that case. I guess once you have all those, you could probably play the card of like legally speaking, like my lawyer advised me not to or some shit. But then, all right, fine. But then you're just cooked in the court of public appeal. So it's up to you.
There are a few things. I think we have Kevin Bacon on the show today. We have Kevin Bacon and Carly Aquilino. Fuck. Carly Aquilino on the show today. And Kevin Bacon actually said something because we talk about the Imagine video and the
racial, like the racial
Black Lives
compilation
Matter video.
Yeah.
And Kevin Bacon says, what I thought was a great line. He says, I'm a heartbeat away from fucking up too. Mm-hmm. And he kind of says those people's heart was in the right places. These are the Imagine people and the Black Lives Matter people. And I always like kind of agree with that. I'm always like, look, I don't know. I could fuck up. I could have fucked up.
It comes for everybody.
Here's the one thing I'm promising you right now. Not coming at me for this. This one, I'll throw a guarantee. I'll throw a G word stamp on it. This one's not happening.
You know what? It will. It's not that it might be. It will be something else. We will get canceled one day because when you do what we do, you talk as much as we talk. You touch all these topics. You live my life. I mean, it already almost happened to me once. It will probably happen to me again, but it's going to be for something better than this. I guarantee that.
I'm gonna have a bad day on Twitter, probably a couple times before I die. I'll go bad day on Twitter. Not going to be for. They won't even be for DMs. That's why you're brilliant, dude. That's why you're brilliant. I mean, you just do not. I was gonna say don't like give in to the temptation, but you're just not even tempted to do it. You just don't have the desire because anybody. But I have a desire to hook up with women. I'll say it. Whatever. I'm being brave a couple times on this show today, but it's not. It's not to first of all with underage ones, but second of all, I don't think the DM. I'm not a shoot guy. Mm-hmm. I think the DM you got to put up numbers to get one even work.
Yeah, and you don't want to do that.
It's not worth the effort for me.
And if if it was like one or two girls were like I was 17 and it never really even went anywhere, but these DMs are creepy, you could be like, well, yeah, that guy threw out DMs to like every pretty girl, and whoops, he missed a couple. I mean, there's so many. There's a comical amount of evidence on this one that is just
like he must just spend his whole day on his I'm on my phone a lot. I've actually been on my phone so much less, it's crazy. But I'm on my phone a lot. His must be surgically attached to his hand.
Yeah,
talk to that many people that often.
I saw someone tweet for a guy that searches his name on Twitter and replies to people all night long, you're suspiciously silent, which I don't know if I don't follow his account close enough to know if he's doing that shit. But if he is,
I saw there were people who were like, because it did get to the pile-on aspect where some people were like, yeah, he told me to fuck off once. I'm like, okay.
And you know what? I mean, some of those DMs being like, I was 22 years old and this happened. It's like, well, then you need to see your fucking way out of this conversation because it really is. I mean, that's not what we're talking about here. As an age gap is weird, but it needs to be a certain age gap that's a problem. And until you're in that case, it probably shouldn't really matter. But
that one was like people were like. It was like I feel like he DM'd like fuck you, you ugly bitch or whatever because it was like someone said they didn't like a movie of his or a show.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, he's probably listening to this. That's
the thing too is like he's always commenting on like, and this is why I actually liked him. I liked his kind of his social media presence and podcast more than his stand up because he always kind of commented on like what we would comment on and be like. This guy's a fucking weirdo, just like that kind of like, why are people so weird? Why can't they just be normal? And it's like, oh yeah, I get that. And then it's like, it's always the ones hiding, it's like, is that another mental thing where it's like, you get off on the fact that you're like tricking people or something? Or like when he twice in a row goes to a Hollywood studio and is like, I'll play the pedophile. Is that like he goes home at night being like, they don't even know the truth?
I couldn't even.
It's too much of a coincidence, right?
What's up?
It's too much of a coincidence, right?
It is. Two is too many. One, maybe like you needed a paycheck.
Right.
Two, like, come on.
Yeah.
What are we doing here? And right. I thought you had a great tweet today where you were like, it is. I feel like sometimes people fall back on like, if you don't have advice, I don't trust you. But he was so famously like, I've never drank, I've never done a drug,
never touched.
And that's because like you're just you're too uptight to ever relax. Like you're like, if I relax, maybe I come out.
Yeah,
like,
slip up or right. If I have a couple drinks and I tweet something wrong, or someone gets my phone, or whatever the fuck it is, to never have touched anything. You can be recovering whatever, that you went through it. People who are sober now and went through like rehab, they just got to the finish line first. We're all going to eventually get there. We're like, oh my God, this is a problem. But they just did it a little earlier than us. Those people, fine. It's the people who are like, I have never touched anything. Well, then you're doing something else. I truly believe that it is like not possible as a human with the brain and the emotions to not have some urge in some direction that's either wrong or suspect, or not wrong because drinking's fine, but you know what I mean? Like it's a selfish vice. It's a desire to feel good, whatever. And if you're not just doing it with booze and drugs, you're doing it with something else.
I don't think you're doing it. I don't think you're doing with something else to fill that void. I think you're not doing that because you're scared that it'll come out. I think you're because like when you have a couple of drinks, you just talk a little looser, right? Like it's called loosening up, right? And you're more
or like I'll forget to lock the room that I keep like the fucking child porn in or something. Like just there's too many ways to slip up. I'm thinking about him on that show in the show. He has like a basement that he hides everything in, and like has a whole system that he hides his roofie medicine and shit. And
he's like he's
a predator in that one for sure. Yeah, real bad. The Workaholics thing was more of like comedy. Is like he's a pedophile, like child porn type of guy. But my motto: abuse substances, not children. You gotta if you're listen to me, kids. If you're growing up and you're not drinking and doing drugs, you better pick it up now because you're gonna end up a problem if you don't. Man's gotta have a vice. Brian Cox said it best. Man who doesn't have a hot habit, he's got skeletons in his closet. You gotta drink, you gotta smoke. It can even be your vice could even be women or sex. It's just gotta be the legal kind.
Yeah.
Because if you don't do that stuff, it's gonna come out of somewhere else and it's gonna be a problem. So we'll see where it goes. I did see some people tweeting being like, your boy, you got to talk about him. He was on the show. You were blowing him during the interview. What are you going to say now? Like hand up. Didn't know Chris D'Elia was a potential predator. Sorry. Thought he was just a funny comedian. Wanted to have him on our show. Enjoyed his work until then. Now I can admit it. You're right. Fine. Whatever you want to say, predator or creepy. Yeah, sure. Just didn't know it. But it'll be more interesting to see what happens with the guys who really are down with him, because he is plugged in to all the biggest podcasts, all the biggest comedy, and those guys. I mean,
it's a little weird that none of them had said anything. Because guess what? If this was you, I'd be like, "What the fuck, Kevin?"
Yeah, listen. When I went through different shit, but similar salacious scandal, and Dave, but listen, Dave came out right away and was like, yeah, I mean, he looks like a fucking asshole right now. What do you want me to say? And it was like, I didn't love that in the moment, but I was like, I understand. I put these guys in a spot right now that they're going to have to speak up. And that is very, very, very different from what we're talking about here. So all those Bert tweeting about like, anybody got any good ideas in Hawaii?
Dude,
just blissfully unaware of what's going on,
That's so beautifully Bert. And I was going to say he was probably drunk at the moment, but I think he's been sober all quarantine. I think he's sober like 70 days now, I guess.
Wow.
It's not a lifetime thing. They're all weird. They like to challenge themselves.
He can go back and forth. He yo-yos. It's crazy.
70 days out of 72, like there were 2 in the middle. Like he's like,
yeah, that's. I'll give it to him. He had 2 like blackouts in the middle of quarantine. That's it. You're sober, especially by Bert standards.
But I was also surprised. Like I looked at the replies to that because I'd become aware of the D'Elia thing right before Bert tweeted, and I was like, I first of all, you give comedians too much credit. I just sitting there staring at it, trying to figure out the joke for a while.
Yeah, he's like literally just asking about traveling to Hawaii.
No, he's just asking about flights to Hawaii.
Yeah,
and then I opened the replies to see what people were saying. It actually, I think it later came a bit of a storm of like D'Elia things, but originally it was very largely just being like, "Hey man, Here's the answer to the question you're looking for. Just polite replies to it. He's got a great following.
I was going to say that, forget about the D'Elia situation. People just replying with helpful answers of like, here's a great flight. Here's a great price. Like, what app are you on right now? I will say this. I don't think we realize sometimes how like we have an antenna for this shit. We have like a radar for this shit. Like at that point, there was probably like one or two of the tweets before like She Rate Dogs really gets onto it. And I was texting with a couple other comedians and like I sent them the first tweets. And they were like, oh, I wonder if this will be bad. And I was like, it's going to be bad. Like a flood is coming. An avalanche of like DMs and shit's going to happen. And within like a few minutes, the She Rate Dogs things happen. So I think, sometimes the general like Twitter sphere is not picking up yet what we're on. And like before long, once they did, I mean, forget about it. I mean, the one tweet replying to Bert was like, why don't you guys fly to Epstein's Island with D'Elia? And it's just like, all right, just log off. You're not going to do anything productive anymore here. But I wonder what they'll say. I mean, Neil Brennan jumped in right away with just a tough tweet that he deleted like instantaneously. He said, I had the screenshot, I deleted it. He was just like, hello, I detest child predators, but I will give you $1,000 per accusation for anybody who can prove that Chris D'Elia knew they were underage. Which is, first of all, like, even if you had ultra confidence in your boy, issuing it as like a bet, like I'll give you $1,000 per, like it just was not good. But I think he also didn't know that the She Rates Dogs shit had happened because I quickly saw in the reply someone sent him that tweet, which is pretty undeniable, and he quickly deleted that one.
Yeah.
So, it can go wrong both ways. I think the silence is deafening. I think that people who jump in rushing to their friend, and that happens every time with this stuff. It's like, I think Lena Dunham was like the most famous one where she said, believe all women, and like crushed everybody who's ever been accused. And then the day that it came for her friend, it was, well, let's wait for the facts. Mm-hmm. Can't be that way. It really can't. I mean, I know it's only a natural urge to be like, fuck, that's my friend, and I don't believe it. Or even if I do believe it, I don't want to make things worse for him. But if you're in the business of like commenting on news and talking about the world of comedy, and you would crush other people who behaved like that, I mean, you gotta call it. I mean,
if it's the right thing, like if I was positive, I guess I could never be positive that you didn't do anything, but I'd be like, I know he didn't do anything. Yeah. Like even in this, and it feels weird using example. We used Nate. Nate was like in trouble because like I just be like, what the? Like I would just be like, what the fuck? I just say something. I wouldn't make a stern comment.
Yeah, but that's where get your PR on and like put something out there that it doesn't look like you're just ignoring it or avoiding it, but you also maybe aren't like damning someone one way or the other. I mean, I'm comfortable saying it because, like I said, we don't have like much ties to him. If you are, Rogan and these guys, like I don't know if it's different, but it probably shouldn't be. I mean, we're talking about some heavy shit, so we'll see what happens. It'll be kind of interesting, and from a like comedy point of view, but from just a life point of view, like God damn, it just keeps getting worse. Today's show is brought to you by Shady Rays. Summer's here. The sun is shining. Warm weather is here. I'm going to put on my sunglasses. You should too. Shady Rays has high quality shades for less than the expensive brands. They got the best warranty in the sunglass industry, which to be honest, I think is one of the most valuable things in the world when it comes to sunglasses. If you lose them or break them, you have a lifetime craftsmanship warranty where, I mean, what's something that you lose or break more often than just your sunglasses? Anything?
I'll be honest.
You don't ever, right? You never lose yours or some shit?
I like once every 2 years or so.
But right. you lose your wallet or your debit card like fucking 6 times a year.
Debit card, even that is much less than it usually. I'm probably down to like once a year with a debit card.
You're so mature now. You used to just pee the bed and lose your wallet. Now you're just like, I keep all my belongings and I pee in the toilet. Shady Rays, it's an independent sunglasses company, so you're supporting the little guy, not some big corporation overcharging for shades. They make high-quality craftsmanship shades at an affordable price that are stylish, they're polarized, they look good, they're sharp for like, the younger age. If you want to look cool, you want to look stylish, you're not wearing some, you know what I'm keenly aware of now? I used to have a pair, I haven't worn them in a while, but I used to have a pair of like Costas. Remember when those were big?
Oh, yeah. I was in a fraternity, Kevin. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, right? Okay, so, recently I've seen on Twitter people being like, that's the official, like, part of the official starter kit for, like, racists on Twitter,
I was in a fraternity, Kevin. I know.
But I knew they were, like, kind of douchey or whatever. I didn't. When I got my Costas, I thought that, I guess we probably shouldn't be talking about other sunglasses shades, but I thought that was more for, like, fishermen than, like, dickheads.
First of all, you can't even pronounce them.
Is it not Costa?
It's Costa.
I didn't know. Is it Costa? It's COS. It's not Cos.
The full name is Costa Del Mar, and that's just.
Oh, fuck them. Get your Shady Rays. Shady Rays are the number one in the game, and right now they're also doing some good for the world. They'll provide 10 meals to fight hunger with every order placed. They've sent over 9 million meals to date. So not only are you going to look stylish and look good, but you'll be doing some good for the world too. Free returns and exchanges. And right now, when you go to shadyrays.com, use the promo code KFC for 50% off when you get 2 pairs or more. It's buy one, get one free. BOGO up in this bitch. You can get 2 pairs of shades for just $48, which you're not going to beat. So go to shadyrays.com, promo code KFC, 2 pairs for $48 for the newest and best shades in the game. This video, it's one of my favorite videos ever. Legit. It's one of the more patently ridiculous and preposterous videos I've ever seen. This cop crying on camera over her McDonald's drive-through order. It's outrageous. It's sheer lunacy. And if you really want to dive into it, it's probably like a sign of the problems with like law enforcement. But on the surface, it's just so fucking ridiculous and funny. I mean, she's like sobbing. It's a big buildup. She tells the whole story. And all it is that it took a little long for her food to come out. But this woman was convinced.
Well, food didn't come.
Well, the coffee came out first, right?
The food never came. The Egg McMuffin didn't come or whatever.
But she was like, you can keep it because it's probably poisoned, because that's like the state of affairs for cops in America right now. I mean, how fucking silly.
First of all, was it Casual Friday? Like, she's in a polo.
Well, and that's also some people were like, this isn't a real cop. And I was like, you know what? I might believe that. That might be like a parking lot cop or something, because she didn't really seem to have like the whole fit on. But whatever, if she's any sort of legit law enforcement, give me a fuck.
That looked like she was coming from like the police department charity golf tournament.
Yeah.
Who wears that polo? That's like a wicking polo. That was an insane outfit. But the whole thing was just on the heels of everything. like the cops who called on Shake Shack because they had diarrhea, which is literally just what Shake Shack does.
That's what fucking milkshakes do. When you have like 20 ounces of milk and ice cream, everybody's stomach hurts.
But even more so, like I've never had a milkshake from Shake Shack. I've had diarrhea every time I ate at Shake Shack. Like Shake Shack Shake Shack is the Roto-Rooter of intestines. That shit goes through. Like, I mean, it's insane. Like, I think it's just part of in their food. You just get awful diarrhea when you eat Shake Shack.
It's like the ingredients.
Like, it's totally worth it. In fact, I like save it. I'll not go to the bathroom for 3 days, then get Shake Shack just so I can like really, really prepare for that thing.
You are gross.
I'm disgusting. I'm an animal.
Yeah.
But it was so bad. Where at the end, what was she saying? Oh, when she was like, just thank me. Like, just thank me now. Why? You signed up for a job. Like, you get thanked every 2 weeks in your fucking bi-weekly paycheck. Mm-hmm. Like, what other position do you go around just thanking everyone all the time?
And let's be honest, there are still a lot of people out there who are like, Blue Lives Matter and like, thank you to our heroes and first responders. It's not like, cops have not been given their some like props over the years, but I mean,
say thank you when like, you do something.
Yeah, but just like the average.
I say thank you to the cashier when I check out, but they just did something.
I remember a guy in my family's a firefighter, and after 9/11 one time he was out, and this dude was just staring at him. Not in a malicious way, but just like really gazing at him. And he was like, what the fuck? What is it, man? And he was like, nothing. I just wanted to like look at a real true hero. And he was like, get the fuck out of here, man. Like, fuck off, Like, yeah, if I just ran into a burning building or I just stopped the bank robbery, sure, maybe. But just this idea of, like, constant praise and somebody said to me, because I tweeted about it and I get all my mentions become a dumpster fire, and someone said like, it's really hard for cops out there right now. Like the atmosphere is tough, and they've got a bullseye on their back. And are we really going to let the actions of a few paint broad strokes for a large group? And I was like, you're talking about racism, asshole. Like, yeah, agreed. That's the whole fucking point here. And you're only applying that logic to cops instead of for what, a made up story about cops getting poisoned this week. That's what like the news is. It's like there's no evidence at all of this actually happening. There's just a couple guys who drank some milkshakes and pooped. And now all of a sudden we're like, cops are getting poisoned at food establishments. No, they're fucking not. And I mean,
it happened. This happens regularly. This isn't just like a sign of the times. It happens regularly. And every time it becomes a national story, it's fake. I'm not going to say every time it's accused, it's fake. Every time it goes viral and becomes a national story, it's fake. It was the cop who
people talking about poisoning? Or like, like spit in my food sort of thing. There was
someone at Starbucks recently who like, it was within the last year. And it was a cop who like, did the pre-order. Yeah. And then he picked it all up and it said they were all labeled pig. Right. And then it went viral and Starbucks was like, that's the font that you put in on the fucking app. Like you
wrote pig.
And then there was another one where like a cop freaked out because like they ate a bite of his burger before they gave it to him. And then it went viral. And then they went to the McDonald's, I believe it was, and they just watched the video. And the guy put the sandwich in the bag and all that stuff. And then the cop just bit it in the car.
Took a bite. I mean, but yeah.
I don't know. I'm not saying it never happens. It might happen sometimes. But every time it's viral, it's not real.
Right. And it probably happens. You just don't know it. It's usually like you're eating some spit and you just didn't even fucking know it. If there's anything outward, it's probably made up. But even if it's not, I mean, like.
Even the Shake Shack one, that was also a pre-order. That was like a contactless pickup.
Right. So they wouldn't even fucking know.
Before you got there.
Yeah, I mean, people. It's the Farvo liter of cola fucking thing. That was a joke in a movie.
Unless you're doing the on the contactless order pickup, you're putting it's for a cop.
Right.
Then
you don't know.
No idea.
I really think that like on the surface, it was funny to just. I cannot believe how many people are putting things on video these days. The amount of people who know that there's a camera on you or you're filming it yourself and you're all getting fired or you're all looking ridiculous online because we're just addicted to like online content. It cracked me up, but also on a level, I was like, what this girl is clearly like, maybe she's right. Maybe she's stressed out because it is hard to be a cop right now. And so she's on the brink of like an emotional breakdown. Fine. What if she was like called to the scene for a crazy situation and she was in that state? That girl has got guns and weapons and carte blanche to do what the fuck she wants. And she can't handle the drive-thru at McDonald's taking a little bit long, which by the way, I went to Wendy's when I drove home from your house. It took a long ass time because it's a weird, like it's COVID and you can't just
pull it out inside. There's no inside line.
Right. I mean, it's like crazy to jump to that conclusion. And on an even deeper level, I think that when you become a cop and you get trained and you got an officer like Derek Chauvin, like training you, I think they like beat it into you. Like you're always at risk. You're always a target. There's always a bullseye on your back. Like be ready to fight, be ready to respond. And, for every one time that probably does happen, there's probably a lot of times where the situation escalates because, you can't go to McDonald's without thinking you're being poisoned.
Yeah.
That's a pretty like crazy level of paranoia to relate to your job and the climate. It's like you're going to go around acting and doing certain things based on this idea that is just totally fucking made up.
There was I watched a video recently. It was like a Baltimore cop who had retired. He's like a young kid. He's probably like 26 or whatever. And this is like, I mean, I was having fun laughing about a cop crying over egg and griddle. This is a little different, but it was like, it's basically like an interview with him explaining like how he quit because he was like, I'm not helping my community. This is bullshit. Mm-hmm. He was like, I'm out getting statistics and numbers rather than, all the catchphrases you've heard. Mm-hmm. But he was explaining like how it became that way. And he's like, in training, like you're just showing videos of cops not reacting and dying.
Right.
So it's like a cop who like wouldn't pull the trigger and he gets shot, or a cop who wouldn't pull a gun and he gets shot. So which kind of beats you like.
I get it. What would I do? I have no fucking idea. That's why I'm a blogger. I am not interested in that career at all. If you are interested in that career, I think you have to be elite. I think you have to be nerves of steel. I think you have to be cerebral. I think you have to be physically in shape, all that shit, because, it's true. If you don't react in certain instances, you might be dead. But if you do react in the wrong one, now you're a murderer. So I don't know. I wouldn't become a cop. That's what I'm telling you. I don't know why anybody does it. It's crazy. So, I totally understand where it's coming from. I think that's when we talk about this whole saga, I think that's the concrete actionable strategy is like, let's fix that. When you go to the academy, let's not just show people a constant highlight reel of death. Let's figure out a better way to train them to be safe, but also vigilant.
That's how they make Blanca.
Yeah. That's like, it's like a torture tactic. Of course these guys are like murderous rampage assholes. They've been fucking Jason Bourne treated that way. It's like, come on. So shout out to
that was the scariest scene I ever watched in my childhood. Blanca getting made. I was like, this is terrifying.
Turn him into a goddamn literal monster. All right, let's do our Am I the Assholes voicemails.
No, I got to take.
Oh, I love when Johnny stops me and tells me he's got to take. It's brought to you by Movement Watches. The movement has been raging now for several years, and we have always been a part of it, literally since day one. You cannot tell the story of Barstool podcasts and the new age Barstool without talking about movement, because they've had our backs now for years on end. And right now they're going to have your back with the Everscroll glasses while everyone's at home staring at the screen and watching their phones and their televisions with their eyeballs just like bleeding out of their head. Movement came up with the Everscroll blue light filtering glasses, which helps filter out the damaging effects, and you're not going to get headaches. You're not going to have eye strain. Those things can lead to poor sleep. So honestly, you pop these glasses on and you'll be getting better sleep at night. You'll be a healthier person for it, which when you sleep more, you look better. So you wear these glasses, you look stylish and sexy because you don't look ugly from being tired. I mean, it's a win-win-win-win-win-win.
Especially, I have not been sleeping.
Yeah? Are you finally, is it quarantine related? It's just like you can't.
I'm done.
Yeah, you've reached your breaking point.
Yeah.
I could do this for another 5 years. Johnny's done. Get the Everscroll glasses, though. They're made for... Oh, no, I did the thing again. Right. Swallowed the spit down. The interview hasn't aired yet. It's with Howie Mandel. But I've been swallowing my spit down the wrong pipe. Just not like a lot of spit. Just like you get saliva, you swallow, it goes into my fucking lungs, and then I start coughing. Howie said that's never happened to him. You know what I'm talking about, right?
I don't think so, man.
You've never just had some spit go down the wrong pipe?
I'm definitely not twice in a week.
Yeah, something's wrong with me. Get in line, fucking esophagus. There's a lot more wrong. The Everscroll glasses start at just $60. So take care of yourself with better sleep, better focus, and better style. Get 15% off today, plus free shipping and free returns when you go to mvmt.com/KFC. That's mvmt.com/KFC. Join the movement. What you got for me? Oh boy, you just cracked his knuckles and everything.
I don't think people like sports.
I know I don't. Tell me why.
It's just like, it's all people talk about on Twitter is I need sports back. Now, obviously the main sports are not back. So this is a tepid take at best. Mm-hmm. But everyone is always so excited every time a sport comes back, and then no one watches it. I think people just like bitching about sports rather than enjoying the sport itself.
What, you mean like Korean baseball and horse racing and NASCAR, like all the shit that's come back?
Korean baseball, NASCAR, the Bundesliga, the Charles Schwab Invitational. Mm-hmm. All of those sports are doing no better numbers than they always do.
Oh, I don't know that's true. I think the Charles Schwab did really well, actually.
It didn't.
No?
It did it too. Before and I don't know what Charles Schwab usually does. It's probably a little better. But before that's what made me like bring this up. Is before the Charles Schwab, one of the PGA execs said we're with 6. We're going to break records. If Tiger was here, we'd do a 10. They did.
Maybe that's what I saw. Maybe I thought that's what happened, and I saw them saying that. But
yeah, he's like we're gonna like burn the world. I think they did 2.1. He's like, if Tiger's here, we're gonna do a 10. I think guys just like drama, and then And then like we like the drama around like there's no sports. And then when it's like, okay, fine, here's sports. Like, well, I don't know if I want that right now.
Yo, I mean, I have definitely reached the point, and I always put this caveat of like, I hate my teams. My teams bring me misery, not joy, all that shit. But like, I could live with like highlights and looking at the standings now. You know, like I don't need to sit there and watch the games. If I know that the Yankees are losing and they're 10 games out, I'm happy. Like that's what I'm there for. I'm there for the big picture. And I don't know if I need to sit there and watch like every pitch of every game and to still get the effect of what I get out of being a sports fan now.
I like my teams because I have a connection to them. I have a history with them. It reminds me of, like relationships with family members and friends and memories and shit like that. I like and I've said this for years. This isn't a new thing. Right. I like my teams. I watch my teams. And then after that, it's like, I don't know. It's whatever. But
it's on at the bar or whatever, you know?
We were just like, I need sports back. Sports are back. You can watch sports. You're just opting not to. You don't like sports that much. You just want to yell about sports.
Right. You need something to fill the void, not of what you're consuming. It's just to fill the void of what the fuck you talk about. You know what I mean? When you're so used to arguing about sports and stats and players and that's gone, you just kind of transfer it to like, well, let's argue about why sports are gone and why they should come back. And then when you have, you love baseball? Go watch it. There's baseball on.
I get it's at a really bad time, but you can watch highlights. You can watch the game again. But you don't have an investment in that team. So you don't miss sports. You miss your team, which is fine. But it's just like everyone keeps being like, we need sports back. I don't think that's the case. I think when baseball comes back, I do not think it'll have much better numbers than ever.
No, I've been saying this all week. If you're a diehard fan, you can say all you want. You're not going to watch this, but you're gonna because you're a diehard fan. And if you're a casual fan, you probably don't even care about the labor feud because you're a casual fan. And when it comes back, you'll watch it here and there casually, and everything will stay the same. You know,
I enjoy the drama of the labor feud. But I'm not like I don't think this year, and maybe I'm dumb. You know, well, I'm definitely dumb, but maybe I'm dumb here. I don't think this is make or break for baseball. People like you are going to ruin baseball by not having it this year. No, I don't think so. I think the people who watch baseball are going to keep watching baseball, and eventually they're going to die because they're pretty old, and then maybe you're in trouble. But I don't think this year is like make or break for baseball. I think they'll play. I think in the minority. I think they'll play.
No, I think I've been saying there won't be baseball. Everything I hear is that eventually there'll be this 48-game season. There won't be a real season, but there'll be something I hear. But I think what is true is that they miss an opportunity. I think if they were the first ones back and they did it in a PR way of like, we're here to save the world, I think they would have had a chance to get some more fans that are like, I'm a football fan. I don't ever watch baseball, but hey, it's the only thing to watch right now. So I'll turn it on.
Minuscule numbers. I think
so I think it would be, a bump in ratings by, a 0.0 something. But it would, you need all the help you can get.
It's like, you ever seen that meme where it's like the nice guys meme where it's like, what is it like when she says she just wants a guy who's cute and funny and therefore, but that's you or whatever. Mm-hmm. And it's like a guy crying.
Right. Yeah.
It's like when he says like he just wants sports back and you're here. And it's like, that's what baseball would be like. It's like, whoa. I meant football. Okay. I'm saying sports. I meant football. I want football to be back.
And that's like,
which is crazy in and of itself because football's not even a time when football's supposed to be being played.
You would be missing right now. You'd be missing football anyway. It's just not football season, you assholes. I couldn't agree more. I think that there probably are, I look at like some of the true gambling, even the gambling thing. It's like you can, if gambling's what you miss, you can gamble on Korean baseball. Like you can still get that rush of a bad beat or a backdoor cover or whatever.
And I think people did it and tried it and realized that's not it.
They don't care. Yeah. You don't like sports. It's like, when people say that like sports is guys' versions of Kardashians and Real Housewives and shit. I kind of believe that. And it's like, the point is not that you miss like, it's not that it's guys' version of just like gossipy celebrity stuff. It's the Kardashians. and the Real Housewives, like the main heavy hitters, because you could go watch, some other version of it. It's people you're not invested in. You don't fucking care. The same way that the girls are going to watch like the highly rated ones, and you want to watch the big four. So it's not sports. It's just, you miss your storylines and your
the same thing with even like The Last Dance, where like people tried to say like sports are back. We had The Last Dance. The Last Dance did fine. It didn't do like as good as a regular season basketball game.
Right. It wasn't like this is taking the place of sports. What I've realized, and I've changed on this, because I thought that the world had changed, and then when things started to open up and get back to normal, I realized it absolutely hasn't. The world is going to go right back to what it was.
Yeah.
Because you know what the truth is? It's been a couple months. Not that long. If we did this for like years, like I was talking to my mom about her great aunt, my grandma's sister, and she lived to be like 175. So she was in our lives like a real long time. And she would always tell stories like during World War II, it was like 4 straight years of like, we don't know who's going to die. We don't know who's going to go off to war. All the women, we don't get to go to school anymore. We got to go work. Like just like life radically changed for years. And it was just like, this is what we do now. It's been the spring, basically. And everyone, like if that's not enough to like, radically change all of your habits and preferences, if it happens relatively soon, the same amount of people is going to watch. The same amount of people who don't watch is not going to watch. It's just not enough to really change everything.
Speaking of sports, though, for changing things, I hope the NBA only plays in Orlando forever. That is awesome. Did you see all the stuff came out last night?
No, and what?
About is how like things are going to be set up in Orlando.
I just saw that it was like these teams stay at the Grand Floridian, these guys stay at like the Grand whatever, but I didn't see much more than that.
Oh God, there's so much awesome stuff. There's a snitch hotline.
Oh, that's cool. Anonymous snitching. And out of all the leagues, you're telling me that like LeBron wouldn't pick up the phone and be like, Kawhi, we didn't wash his hands.
Dude, it's a mess. It's never going to happen, I don't think. Because it's like
especially
players,
with Kyrie in the mix.
the players have to, what is it? Like you can't be touching your mouth guard on the bench. They're thinking about having every player have an individual caddy on the bench. So that's like you're putting 40 people on the bench.
More people, yeah.
Right. And then there's so much. They can't play doubles ping pong because that's in the entertainment center. There's a ping pong table. Pretty sick.
You can play basketball, but you can't play doubles ping pong?
Exactly. It's crazy. There's so much just like weird stuff happening where there's what is it? There's going to be entertainment. They think about bringing in like comedians and bands and stuff like that. But imagine it's just like the Lakers in the crowd at like a Pitbull concert.
Yeah. Watching whatever Disney has to offer.
In that. Yeah. And then also they have like movies, like they can go see Captain Marvel.
Like a private
Marvel. Black Widow. Movie's not even out yet.
Oh, you get an advanced shit. Dude, I would do that just for that. I'd be like, yeah, let's get the league on the floor so I can just fucking watch advanced movies. That's awesome.
Yeah. All of it looks just poised for disaster.
Yeah, definitely.
And it seems like I can't wait.
The NBA had like great PR in the sense like it seemed like their negotiation went well and they were ready to rock and they were going to hit the ground running. I'm sure it's been way more of a shit show and will be way more of a shit show than they let on. I mean, the league is
now they said that like players if they don't show up, that's fine. The players they're not obligated to come. Like,
I love it.
and I would think entire teams don't come because the bubble's too big. They're only like 6 games left in the season. They invited 24 teams or whatever it is.
Well, no,
most of those teams at this point, no, they have no shot.
Well, everybody who's been invited is mathematically possible. But they're not. Yeah, I mean, it's like I think ESPN gave the Kings a 0% chance to make it because they're probably like 9 games out with 10 games to play or something like that. Right. So like, what those guys are going to be like? Yeah, whatever.
And then even then, like you don't have a shot to win the title. Right? Why go risk it all for the title?
Well, I think that about baseball too. It's like if I feel a little tickle in my elbow, I'm not fucking going out there again for a 48-game season that nobody's going to take seriously.
If Mookie Betts plays, he's a dummy.
Moron. To risk anything that you got $400 million waiting for you Only if you make it there, though, for a 48-game season, get out of here. And everyone I talk to in the know or in these leagues say, like, no, that won't be a problem. They'll want to compete. Get the fuck out of here. It's only human nature when your job is, like, radically different and compromised to just be like, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm here, but, like, not really. Like, right. I'm just going through the motions here. Unless it's like LeBron is like, this is one of my last, well, probably, maybe, who knows, one of my last, like, seasons. Like, I got to try to win one here. The rest of it's probably like, like fucking whatever, dude. So, but of all leagues too, that one is going to be drama filled to the max. And Kyrie is such a cocksucker, man. He is such a cocksucker. And I know there was kind of like a white black thing that was like white reporters were saying how selfish he is, where black reporters were like, he's talking about like how we should focus more on the racial injustice than sports. Blah blah blah. All maybe true, maybe not. Kyrie started drama as soon as he found out, like, he's not going to be in the mix. As soon as it was like, yeah, you're injured, you got to stay home, he was like, well, fucking wait a minute. So.
But I also think that was incredibly selfish of Kyrie. As selfless as it seems, it's selfish.
No, I'm saying selfish. I'm saying selfish.
I know, I'm saying selfish too. I think for a different reason. Like, I think it seems selfless in the sense that, like, I'd give up everything for this.
Oh, yeah.
And Kyrie probably would. But like, there are just younger NBA players who can't. Or who it's like Kyrie
not in that position.
Multiple $100 million deals, doesn't he?
Yeah.
So, like, it's easy for you to go, I'm done. I'll stop playing. But when there's a guy who, like, has a family he's trying to support and he doesn't have a big deal yet, he doesn't have generational wealth, be like, I know, I want to play, man. I want to play in this game.
Kyrie has a ring. He's got his money. He's got his endorsements. Like, you shouldn't be speaking for any of those other guys now. So, and I'm at the point where Kyrie Irving will never get the benefit of the doubt from me ever again. Like, my first instinct will always be like, you're kind of an asshole. And you always, like, the drama follows you for a reason.
Asshole. It's funny. It's like his thing the other night when he was, I don't know if you saw last night when he had said in the Nets group chat, like, let's start our own league.
Yeah, I mean, okay, dude.
And then he didn't. Then it went public. It was denied that he ever said that, and he left the group chat. Like, if you want drama, you want Kardashians, Kyrie's your boy.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, he'll give you headlines. He'll give you clicks. If you were like a Nets beat reporter, I'd sit there with a mic in Kyrie's face, like, permanently. So speaking of assholes like Kyrie, let's get into Am I the Asshole? It's brought to you by Caviar. Right now, everybody getting everything delivered right to their front step. Caviar is the high society version of that, though. We ain't slumming it and getting, your fast food delivered or like your gas station snacks delivered. No. I'm talking about a margarita pizza with some fresh mozzarella. I'm talking about a primo a brisket mixed chuck burger, cheeseburger, double cheeseburger. We're talking about quality food, high quality shit delivered right to your door. You don't want to cook. You don't want to spend money. You don't go to the grocery store. You don't want to spend money on ingredients that you're never going to use, or you throw out the leftovers. You don't want to have to do your dishes. Get your delivery and do it on Caviar. You want to stay home, have a nice night in, and eat quality food. That's what Caviar brings to you. A curated list of options with quality meals with the convenience of in-app ordering. Right to your doorstep, like I said, from that gourmet breakfast taco down to that exotic falafel sandwich, whatever it is, Caviar's got you covered. So right now you can get $10 off a $20 purchase or more with the offer code KFC when you download the Caviar app on the App Store or Google Play. That's Caviar app, promo code KFC at checkout for $10 off a purchase of $20 or more. I want to start off with this one because I would say out of how long we've been doing this segment, this one is spicy hot. I mean, we are coming in blazing hot with this one. 33 male, my 32-year-old wife is set on adopting an African-American child and has stopped being intimate with me until I agree. My wife and I have been married for 5 years. We have 2 kids of our own, 4-year-old and a 2-year-old. We have a good marriage for the most part. My wife is generally more passionate one than I am. I'm a toned down engineer, but this is now ruining our relationship. In the past, my wife has talked about adopting a kid from Africa. So she wants to go Angelina Jolie on him. But that's something we talked about doing when our children had been fully grown, like maybe in our 50s. Now with the whole climate, she's been dead set on doing this. Although instead of being an African kid, we're now doing an African-American kid. because she's passionate about the cause. She brought it up. She said that we have the funds and that we should have one black child, as we already have 2 white children. And in her eyes, that was selfish. She believes that since we're in a position of privilege, we should do what we can to help these kids, and that the only way we can ensure our children aren't going to be racist is by having a black sibling.
There are other ways.
Yeah, there's a lot of other ways. You don't need to go full-blown fucking extreme nuclear to make it happen. He says, I'm okay with activism. I've done my part, but this is too much for me. I want my kids to be biologically mine. We have the ability to do so. He said if we couldn't have kids, it would be a different story, but we can and we do. And I don't believe that adoption should be used as a political or social cause, and that it should only be done if you're 100% set on doing it. She told me she won't sleep with me anymore until I adopt an African-American baby, and she will not share her body with a racist. She has cut off all contact with anybody in her life who hasn't been outwardly trying to fight the racism, and that this guy is basically like complicit by not adopting a black kid. It goes on and on, but that's you definitely get the gist of it. I mean, this is crazy.
It's gonna happen though.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Like, just cut to the chase and go get yourself a black baby, dude. Because this
stories like this always make me laugh. Made me remember. This is an early days blogging, and it was something along the lines. I want to say it was in South America, I believe, or Central America. I want to say it was Nicaragua. I don't remember exactly. And the women in this town all banded together and said, we are not sleeping with our husbands.
Yes.
Because we have a road into town.
I remember this. The road.
Bitches all got out there and built that road.
Yeah.
Okay. You're going to adopt this African-American baby, whatever it is she said she wanted. You're going to do it.
Are you saying because of the sex or because of just like, I don't want this headache?
Sex strikes work.
So what you're telling me is that there's a man in a relationship who will end up having a kid against his will, even though he swears he's not going to do it because his wife can make it happen with the power of the pussy or nagging. Is that what you're telling me?
I'm saying sex strikes work.
So just, hypothetically.
Well, don't get me wrong. This guy shouldn't do it, but he's going to.
Right. And I'm just saying, if you or a
Kevin,
guy who says.
You're trying to talk about a superhero? That's different. Okay? You're like, so you're telling me if someone gets shot with a bullet, they die. Yeah, usually, unless you're fucking Superman, bro.
And you're a superhero, huh? Okay. Okay.
I thought about that in the future. I actually basically like the first half of their thing, where it's like, maybe when I'm 50, like I'll adopt a child. Mm-hmm. And I thought, I was like, I would probably want one. It's so weird to talk about.
I want to buy me a black baby.
But from a foreign child. It doesn't matter what color. But then I was
you know what? That would be so funny, by the way. Just let me interrupt. Like a sitcom script. Like just one piece of it is like, yeah, that's John. Like he adopted a foreign baby, and you find out he's like Australian or something. It has nothing. He comes from a first world country, and he runs around telling people.
I mean, like third world, but not like whatever. But then like, there's so much weird psychology in all of that, where it's like, why do you want a third world child? And it's like, why don't you want a third world child?
Yeah, well, like this guy, when she was like, I think we should do it because it's like a good cause. You're right. But when he was like, I don't think we should be like, building our family based on like making political statements. Like I see that too.
I agree. What she's doing is crazy. We're like, if they had the plan in place and they turned 50 and it was like, hey, remember that idea we had? What do you think? Yeah. But like, I mean, this is a flavor of the week in the highest sense.
Sure.
Because, and I don't mean the movement itself, but her actions are
getting a black kid right now because the protests are going on is like radically crazy. Yeah.
But it is like so weird too, because then you're like, well, are people gonna accuse me of getting a black child just so I could say it? There's so much weird psychology that would go into it that like I entertain the idea of maybe in the future, in 40 years, it's something I do. And I was already having like a panic attack. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, what's gonna happen now? I mean, when you have your own kids and you don't have to adopt, but you just go adopt, and it's for this reason. I mean, that looks like what's the phrase that's virtue signaling? on a whole fucking level of like changing your family and like caring for a living thing. Also, you can be like, fight the power, That's
it's something Polly talked about.
Who did?
Polly.
What do you mean? Polly.
Yeah. I think my dad's like, we're not having another kid.
I mean, you guys have 1,000 already.
Yeah. But I think my mom, they had in her family when she grew up, they had a lot of, they weren't adopted kids, but it was like foreign exchange students. So foreign exchange students would come live in their house, and like from China, from Asia mostly, I believe.
Crazy.
And
that's crazy.
She was like, I really liked it. Me and my siblings all really liked it. Yeah. And it's like, we don't have kids anymore. Like there's no one here to like enjoy like melding of cultures and stuff like that.
You're gonna just be sitting there in like the living room with like a 7-year-old black kid being like, so what? You want to watch Jeopardy? Like no,
we're old. We're retired.
Yeah. I mean, I think you would be. This is crazy, and you might be right that it would be like, all right, you're not fucking me, and you're nagging me, and we already have 2 kids, so like I can't leave you.
No, he should get like a divorce.
That's what I mean. I was gonna say it, but if you wanted to just pull the trigger and be like, I'm gone, and I'll tell like our 9-year-old and our 8-year-old, well, listen, mommy's a fucking racial protesting lunatic right now. I think you'd be like well within your rights. And by the way, probably should. I don't think anybody, as much as I joke about it and say that it will happen to all men, because it does, it's fucked up that it does. I don't think anybody should be pressured into taking care of a human.
Right.
I mean, you have to be on fucking board with this shit.
You can't pressure me into going out.
Right.
Yeah, you can pressure me into going out.
But it's not even really, if you do end up going out, it's because you want to have a drink. You can't really pressure you into doing anything you truly don't want to do.
Right. That's true. That's right.
It's funny. We are all at once like the biggest like followers and lemmings, but also at the same time, like you ain't gonna convince me to do shit if I don't want to do it. We're a paradox. Next up, you want to read this one? My
24-year-old female boyfriend, 23-year-old male, threw up hot sauce on our bed after chugging a bottle, and now he is too ashamed to make love again. Okay. I have been with my boyfriend for 2 years. A few weeks ago, we talked about spicing things up in the bedroom. My boyfriend likes to do weird jokes sometimes, which I usually love. This time, though, what he did was walk into the bedroom naked with the bottle of secret aardvark hot sauce without the lid. He says, I'm ready to spice things up, and winked at me. I was like, what are you doing? And he said something like, it's about to get hot in here, and winked again. Then he started chugging the hot sauce. I was astonished by this. Is it normal for a boyfriend to chug hot sauce before making love with his girlfriend? I started yelling, what are you doing? I could tell right away he knew he'd made a mistake, but he kept chugging for a few seconds before coughing, dropping the bottle, and stumbling into the bed. He made a gurgling sound, and then a noise like a demented hyena. Tears were streaming down his face, which was bright red. He vomited all of the hot sauce all over the bed. I was stunned. I tried to comfort him, even though I was so confused why he'd done this. But he just tumbled off bed and crawled into the bathroom. He yelled, don't come in here, several times. I heard the shower turn on and him throw up several more times. I Googled and found milk can help. So I opened the door a crack and slid a milk carton in there. He slept in the bathroom, and when I knocked in the morning, he told me he needed time. He didn't come out of the bathroom until 1 p.m. and acted like nothing happened. When I wanted to talk about it, he just said, let's just forget it. So I tried to. But ever since then, he has refused to make love and has made no sexual moves towards me at all. It has been weeks. When I bring it up and ask why he never wants to become sexual, he says he forgot about doing sex and we can get to it later. I ask him if it's about the hot sauce, and he clams up and mumbles about something that never happened and walks away. I tried to tell him I don't care about that incident, and he won't talk about it at all. What can I do to get my boyfriend to stop feeling shame about throwing up his hot sauce and allow him to become sexual again?
Yo, this is my favorite couple ever. I love these two.
I mean,
right off the bat, by the way, first of all, great joke. We're going to spice things up. We're going to get hot in the bedroom and you chug hot sauce. Incredible party trick. Second of all, that one little line in there lets me know that this is true love. When she said, it's usually something I really enjoy. Like, these guys are on the same fucking page. He just took it too far. I
I don't think he took it too far. I think she found the whole thing funny.
Yeah.
He's just embarrassed by it. He made a good joke.
I love I forgot to do sex.
Yeah.
This guy is awesome. I would hang out with this guy. He seems fucking great. I can just see him in the bathroom like, look away. Don't come in here. You just gotta bang your girlfriend. You know what you need? She's got to chug a bottle of hot sauce and throw up. Now you can't be ashamed. We're all in the same boat here. It's like when Jim cut his tie. You got to throw up the hot sauce too.
My least favorite scene in The Office. The stupidest scene in the whole damn show.
It's romantic.
It's not.
He's
Dude,
in the same boat.
It doesn't make any sense. He's not in the same boat. She had a little tear in her veil. No one would even notice.
Yeah,
he ruined every single picture in the whole wedding. It makes no sense, Kevin. It's crazy. Why would he do that?
It's Billy Madison peeing in his pants for Billy. It's solidarity.
Everyone could see the pee in the kid's pants. Yeah. She got a little tear from a car door on her veil. No one even sees the veil. The veil's on for 10 seconds.
Most people don't even have veils these days. You don't even need to have a veil at all.
Bail on the veil.
Bail on the veil.
That scene was so stupid. I was when it happened, my first reaction was, oh, she's gonna hit him. I thought she was gonna slap him in the face because he ruined every picture. You know those fake pictures they were taking? Mm-hmm. Those don't actually last. That's not what anyone cares about. They want the physical pictures that are gonna go in a wedding book, and they're all ruined because of Jim's stupid tie, thinking he's being sweet.
Go off, King.
If you do that, you're an idiot.
So what do you think this couple's got to do?
I don't even know the psychology. I've said psychology a few times.
I just find it like, all right, let's say you had something horribly embarrassing happen in bed. You fucking peed the bed, farted, shit, whatever. Your girlfriend comes up to you like the next day and she's like, she's doing the put your hair up. It's about to go down. You don't just like let that happen. You're so embarrassed. You're like, no, I can't possibly have my dick sucked right now.
I guess I just don't understand who's weirder, me or him. That wouldn't embarrass me at all.
We've always kind of said that like funny during bed is kind of like the best. And it sounds like if you're the type of couple who enjoys a good old party trick, like chugging the hot sauce, that you should kind of be able to laugh this all off. It seems like out of character for anyone who would do this to then be this like embarrassed by it,
Right.
It's like if you're that kind of guy, you're usually just like, that was fucking crazy, huh? Let's go bang. And I don't know. Maybe there's something more to it. Maybe wouldn't it be so funny if like you found out
what happens is he really turned into the sack.
Yeah.
Remember what his masculinity's been threatened now because he threw up.
Right.
Like, he seems like an awesome guy until you put together that like he was seen a little vulnerable.
So now he's shut down. Yeah.
And, like, what are you talking about, man? You just puked. Who cares?
Right. Yeah, if anything, you should just be like, I'm a man, and now I'm going to have sex with my woman. Wouldn't it be funny, though, if he was like, if you found out the full story, and he was like, no, like, you've been cheating on me for 6 months, and I found out. It has nothing to do with fucking hot sauce, you idiot. Either way.
I'm not trying to kill myself with that hot sauce. You ever seen Romeo and Juliet? It was a good bit.
Either way, I hope they figure it out, or because this couple just sounds awesome. This guy's got to find love one way or another. If he can't be with her and he's got to find someone else, fine. But any guy who runs into the bedroom saying we got to spice things up, it's about to get hot, and then chugs some Franks, he's a good cat in my book. He deserves only the best. Let's do our voicemails, and then we'll get into our interviews. We'll call it a day.
What up, boys? All right, so the other day I'm watching Hulu with the girl, and we throw in a little bit of Cash Cab. I know you guys had Ben Bailey on your podcast before. Shout out to him. But I noticed that game is extremely winnable. Like, those questions are kind of easy. And it made me think that, like, that's probably the most winnable game show of all time. Like, take a quick taxi cab in New York, walk away with like a couple $100. Got to be the most, the easiest obtainable, winnable game show. Other ones out there, I think maybe Deal or No Deal. You walk away with some cash from that, but like, what do you think is the most winnable game show to you if you're going to go on? Maybe do a top 5. I don't know.
Cash Cab is the most winnable game, but you also average walk away with like $800, so it fits. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. I was gonna say, like, if you get one round and making it in Who Wants to Be a Millionaire and just be like, all right, I'm out.
Yeah, that's the same thing as Cash Cab. So I think that's proportionate. I think the easiest games it's not easy it's just as easy to win as it is to lose when it's a game that's basically all luck. You know what I mean? Like Deal or No Deal is there
I'm
is.
a luck guy.
What's that?
I'm a luck guy. I don't like playing games
Yeah.
someone can beat me at. That's why I play like roulette exclusively, and I
Right.
very rarely play. But
Right.
you have the worst odds in the house. I disagree. No one can beat me at it.
I love it. I love it. Like I might lose all my money, but it's not because I'm like losing it to you. It's not because you
I can sit
outsmarted
down at
me.
a poker table and just get beat. I can't sit down at a roulette table and get beat. I can lose.
Yeah.
I can't get beat.
Yeah, that's a big distinction. I can lose, I can't get beat. You know, you go on like, let's make a deal. And they're just like, do you want door number 1 or door number 2? And you pick door number 1 and you either get like a car or a toaster. And it's like just as easy, but it's also, you know, not as stressful, let's say. The craziest to me is Jeopardy. Like Jeopardy, you should be winning like $1 million an episode. For what those guys go through, I mean, I would be gassed after an episode of Jeopardy. I'd be sweating. My brain would be mush. And you know, unless you're one of the freaks, you walk away with like $17,000. And
I think that's even high. I would take your word for it, but I thought it was always like 10 to 12.
Yeah, right. Unless you're talking about the cream of the crop who know what they're doing with daily doubles and shit, you know, and you lose every now and then. You're walking with like several grand. Whereas in Wheel of Fortune, it's crazy in Wheel of Fortune that you don't have to win the whole thing to walk away with money. You solve one puzzle where you get like, you hit the $5,000 slot, you get like 50 grand, and you don't even have to be like the big winner of the day.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like the big winner that goes on to the bonus round where you can win like cars and millions of dollars and shit like that. But in the round,
$1,000,000 on Wheel of Fortune,
when at the very end, you have to in the middle of the show, you have to land on the $1 million slot, which is not even a full sliver. It's not even a full slice. It's just a little sliver. You have to get the right, you know, get a letter. You get to pick that one up. Then you have to solve that puzzle. So you get to keep it. Then you have to win the first round. Then when you go to the bonus round, you spin a little wheel. That has to land on $1 million. And then you have to get that puzzle right. And that's the thing that's like 10 seconds and it's like a very hard word or phrase. So it's very, very hard, but you can win $1 million.
Oh, it's just one episode. You have to keep going back or anything?
Just one. It's like so improbable with what you have to land on and win, but it's just that one episode. Which is that's my point. And like, you know, Wheel of Fortune, it's like if you can read and guess letters, there's an art to it, but for the most part, it's like pretty fucking stupid. And those are the guys who walk away with the biggest money. Game shows, they need to be overhauled. Just how about when you go on Price is Right, and then the game is just this or that, and you're like, it's a chair for $500 or like a sofa for $600, this or that. And they just like flip a switch and they're like, you win. It's like that. I didn't play anything. I wanted to do the fucking man running up the mountain, or I wanted to putt, or I wanted to play Plinko. All I did was say that. Fuck you, Bob. Let's go to the next.
It's weird. I don't understand why I don't have I just never really got into game. I don't know what I did. I don't know what I did my whole life. I didn't really watch cartoons. I didn't watch game shows. Like I don't know what. I think I just was born. Is like I think I just started in high school.
Wouldn't it be funny if we found out you were just like an experiment? And
there aren't many pictures of me as a kid. There are a couple, but like it's not.
Wouldn't it be funny if you were a science experiment and they were like, all right, this kid's just gonna start at like age like 18 or something when he goes to college, and they were like, well, we've got to give him like memories and stuff. And someone was just like, all right, New Orleans threesome in. Like I beat up my babysitter, put it in there. Just load his brain with crazy shit. And that's why it always comes out. Like it trickles out where you're like, oh, I did remember that. Because it's not real. It's all synthetic. It's all a synthetic life.
It was. Someone said yesterday, there's that picture of me looking like a Russian special soldier.
Yeah.
And I was like, I had to think, like, was I a Soviet spy in the 80s? And someone goes, yeah, like they would have let you remember that. Those memories were wiped long ago. I think I might be immortal and just things get wiped and then put in new ones.
Yeah, you got like zapped and they just plugged in some other shit.
I mean, I look exactly like that guy.
Spot on. You got more doppelgangers than anybody, but that one is fucking money. Next up, Nick.
What's up, boys? So I listened to your last episode, which, by the way, great to have you back in the studio. And I was listening to fights about the GPS and how it sucks, this and that, so it made me think of a would you rather. So back in the day, before GPS, we had to use MapQuest, which was fucking god-awful. you'd have to print 30 pages to go 6 miles. And it really blows, but it's great to have GPS now, as shitty as it may be. So I'm thinking, would you guys rather go a full year without the use of GPS and you had to use MapQuest wherever you go, or would you rather spend a full year having to use shitty dial-up internet and no Wi-Fi, no nothing?
Come on.
You have to use
I mean, let's make that a little better. MapQuest directions versus maybe
TV?
no. How about what?
Cable TV?
I think that's too easy in the other direction. Like cable TV is going to affect like every day of your life, you know?
Yeah, true.
What about MapQuest directions? You can't order like delivery, like app delivery food. You have to if you want to get delivery, you have to like call the pizza place and they have to have like a guy there. You can't just do like the DoorDashes of the world.
I was going to say I drive less, so I would go with MapQuest, but I think that makes it more difficult because I walk more. And you can't MapQuest walks. Imagine just walking around with like printer paper and just right. Okay. I mean, I guess you could figure out like a left on 3rd, right on 22nd, left on fuck whatever. But the GPS talking to me when I'm walking is actually, you know what? I never even really. I guess I kind of just MapQuest it. We're being honest, because I don't really.
You don't like look at the.
I don't start it. I just kind of put the address in and
right.
look.
But usually that's because you're like, I'm on the block and I just got to know which way to, am I going this way or that way? I'm close enough. It's crazy to me that like I've, for the most part, forgotten what it's like, life in general. Like I'm so spoiled by all this shit. I always say how we're the generation that bridges the gap where we know what it was like without these things. But I really can't remember being like in a car and driving and being like, page 2, where am I at? Am I on 95? Like, I don't remember doing that, but I guess I did at some point.
No, I didn't. That one I didn't. I remember my dad doing it, but I couldn't drive. By the time I could drive,
you had it?
There wasn't GPS in the car, but we had a TomTom.
Oh, right. There was like the you bought them at like the sharper image sort of thing.
Yeah,
it wasn't like
attached to like the windshield.
Yeah, you're right. I never actually had one of those, but yeah, you're right. There's plenty of people who never even. I definitely remember printing out MapQuest and fucking sitting there like, and now it's like you're fucking putting music on, you're texting, tweeting, whatever. Back then, it used to just be like drive until like where's the turn? You know what I mean? Like where's the red light that I have to turn at? It's crazy how much we've just been able to like multitask with everything now. Whereas it used to be like you had to look at it. Even think about before MapQuest when you just had a map. How crazy was that? Where you unfold this gigantic thing that's like twice the size of a fucking newspaper, and then you get like a magnifying glass to find out like which street you're on. That's nuts.
You pull over on the side, or you stop at a gas station to pull over on the side of the road, ask for directions. And then even that, when they would be like, you're going to go down like 3 exits, get off to the left, go 2 lights, make a right. You're going to see a barn, go this way, the fork of the road. I'd be like, I forgot everything right away. All of it's gone. My dad still does that to me. Like he'll give me directions. He'll be like, all right, so you're gonna go on to Harrison Ave, take a right there, and then once you hit Cobalt, take a left. And I'm like, dude, I'm just gonna put it in the GPS. Yeah, I get you're trying to be a dad right now, but I'm
be a man. I don't know anything in my neighborhood. I know the name of my street. I do not know the name of either street in any direction.
Both those things I just said I made up because I don't know the streets here. I was actually impressed. Harrison and Cobalt are 2 pretty good street names, but they're not.
Those are totally made up. Cobalt.
Totally made up. Yeah.
Wow. You're a creative cat, man. I mean, the amount of shit that I don't know. I can't do directions anymore. There's probably going to be a whole generation that doesn't even know how to cook at all. I definitely don't remember. Like commutes used to suck. I used to hate my commute because you would just be like sitting on the train staring for an hour. And now it's like, I don't care if I'm on my couch or on the train, I'm going to be doing the same thing on my phone. So like, there's going to be a whole world that doesn't know that commuting sucks. It's going to be a whole world that doesn't know that like you used to have to go to the bathroom and just sit there for a while you shit.
We read shampoo.
You're like, I'll read the back of my Purell. Kills 99% of most common germs. This is great. This is interesting stuff. Oh, I used to love reading the actual ingredients too. Where it was like, oh, cool. Tosferyl acetate. Yeah. Cosmer polymer. Okay, sure. Yeah. Shit sucks. That's how bored we were. No one's going to ever know that. Let's do one more voicemail. and then we'll get into our interviews. Let's do it, Nick.
What's up, KFC, Fights, Super BC? So with this whole coronavirus thing, I was thinking a lot of kids didn't finish school. So, like, what grade do you think missed out the most? Like, a bunch of kindergartners and first graders, like, one day are we going to have a bunch of people that, like, can't tell time, but, like, don't know the days of the week? Let me know what you guys think.
By the way, I got to give a shout out, kind of unrelated, but sort of related. I got a friend from Jersey. When he was in, like, elementary school, they went through this experimental, you know how they're always changing math and, like, changing the way you do things or whatever? His school did one called Whole Language, which was basically like, rather than learning like silent, you know, PH makes an F and this is a silent C and all those like normal, like the normal way to read, they just told you like, sound it out, just like kind of sound it out and figure it out phonetically. And like, he can't spell, he can't read. He's like illiterate because in his formative years, he like really, they were teaching him very much the wrong way. And it's very funny that they call it Whole Language because learning how to spell WHOLE the way they were teaching you, you'd have no fucking shot. So like one time this dude, I said to him like, yo, you're going to come with us? And he texted me, he said, yeah, I'll be right there. I just have to run some errands. And he spelled ERINS. I have to run some errands. And I was like, oh, okay. You have a mental disability. So if you
made that up, a whole language.
Yeah,
where they're just like,
and it's like it was like a 3-year period where they immediately were like, never mind, this is not working. But for those 3 grades,
every single parent, to every parent who didn't step up there, like you should have lost custody for your kid. Like, no, teach him how to fucking read for real.
It was some hippy dippy shit. Like, just say whichever letters you think it is. It's crazy. But the point being that if you miss certain years, you're kind of fucked. Like, you know, what's the difference between like 6th and 7th grade? Like nothing really, right? You know what I mean? The difference
between every individual grade, I don't think anything. Like,
like sophomore year to junior year, like you're gonna be doing SATs and you're gonna be doing like college prep and stuff.
I think by that time you're either dumb or smart already.
Yeah, that's true.
I think you're either born dumb or smart. I think it's just you're either dumb or smart. And that's it, really. And
so school doesn't matter.
You can choose how much you learn to learn.
Yeah.
But I think you're just either dumb or smart.
What grade?
Day, when I was hungover on Sunday, and I was just trying to think of words, and I couldn't. And I was like, "Do you think But you know when you're like, I know this word, like, or just when you're having a conversation, and you're like, "Yo, brain, catch up, dude!" Like,
yeah.
We're ahead of you. We're ahead of where we are right now.
Right.
And do you think that's how dumb people are just every day?
Yeah, well, no, I think when you're so dumb, you don't even realize it. It's like ignorance is bliss. You're just
I guess, but like when I enter a conversation where I'm the dumbest person in it, I know very quickly. I'm like,
even that though. I think stupidity mixed with narcissism is a cocktail that a lot of people sip on, where they are the dumbest person in the room and they don't know it and they just keep on talking.
But you like it's. I guess you don't have that sense of self-awareness where you just like I know right away. I'm like this. Just above my head.
I'm out of my depth. Yeah.
I'm
think about how many people exhibit that quality, though. Nobody. Everybody's on social media, the smartest person in the room. Everybody's regurgitating facts that they know are wrong. I think it's pretty rare to know what you don't know and to know your limitations, which is crazy, but I think it is.
I guess I just have such high hopes for humanity, and they always let me down. So
yeah. Why?
I don't know. What more on the show?
What more proof do you need?
I just like it doesn't make sense because I'm like a barely cynical person, and I just genuinely think that like 99% of people are good trying to do good.
You're wrong.
And they just refuse to stop letting me down.
I mean, I think of it like when I yell at Mets fans and Jets fans. I'm like, why would you say this year is going to be different? I've been doing this for 30 years, and it's always the same, guys. It's the same thing as life. It's like I've been on this planet for as long as I've been on it, and I've seen it's always bad. It's always bad.
I just keep forgetting the duck under the like. I refuse to learn my lesson. I really do think. I think most people are just like they're trying their best, and maybe you're not. I don't think many people are evil, and then it's just like, well, why are you doing fucking evil shit, man?
Yeah, you're acting like an evil person. You're not evil, but you keep on acting like it. So, I mean, on that note, Chris D'Elia is a perfect example of a guy proving you wrong there, John. We had Carly Aquilino on the show. She's from Girl Code stand-up comedy. She was in King of Staten Island. She runs with the Pete Davidson crew, Chris Stefano history, all that shit. So very funny, and we broke it down. We brought up the Chris D'Elia stuff with her for, an insightful but still funny conversation, nothing too heavy. And I explained the reason why I had her on the show. John, is it not perfect? I mean, that was like, this is perfect for our show. It's like this, you're gonna fit right in with this. So, Carly Aquilino,
great.
Yeah, no, she was a great interview. There's a reason why she's not even 30, but she's been in this game for 10 years. So, Carly Aquilino, brought to you by Miller Lite. You're gonna sit down with a girl like Carly, crack a Miller Lite, and share some laughs, have a good time. That's what Miller Lite is there for. It's the best tasting, least filling beer out there. It's one of those OGs that's, brewed in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, makes you feel like, all right, these guys know what they're doing. I'm going to trust the Miller Lite guys. They know how to brew. We're not talking about some craft beer, some little new flavor of the month. We're talking about an American institution of Miller Lite. And whether you are, sharing funny stories, breaking some bad news, whether you're celebrating good news, whatever the occasion, whatever the vibe may be, Miller Lite can be there to either help it or enhance it or make it better, whatever it may be. Miller Lite is the number one beer. It's from Milwaukee, like I said, 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces, only 96 calories, so you're not going to get that beer gut when you're drinking them. It can get delivered right to your door right now. All the delivery apps will have some Miller Lite for you, so it can arrive right at your doorstep like goddamn magic. And I always keep them on deck. I got the tall boys. I got all of them. I got Miller Lite. I got the High Life. I got the bottles, the cans.
But I texted you when I slept over. I said, should I pick up anything? You said, nah, I'm good. We got plenty of Miller Lights.
Got the Miller Lite. That's all you need. So get yourself some Miller Lite every time you're listening to the podcast. If you got one now, crack it open for our interview with Carly Aquilino. Carly Aquilino on KFC Radio. It's a name that I have always heard and always floated around, and I feel like I've been seeing your content one way or another for like a decade. But you're pretty fucking young. I feel like you got into this shit pretty early, and you are very well established now at what, like 29, is it?
Yeah, I'm 29. I started when I was about 20. So yeah, it's been almost 10 years.
Shit.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's too long to be in one business.
I know.
Bro, that's what we've done.
Skills.
I know. I'm out.
Yo, it is weird for me. Like I had a little. What's that?
I was gonna go be a plumber. I found out how much plumbers make the other day.
Forget it. Plumbers make really good money.
Yeah, all those people. When you find out sanitation and plumbing and all that shit makes bank, it's like, wait a minute, I can do that,
dude. There was a story one time my dad told me, because I live in Massachusetts, Carly, that a plumber had to get to Martha's Vineyard to fix like the plumbing in a mansion, and he took his own jet.
Yo, see, that's where I'd be like, fix your own fucking toilet. I got a jet, bro.
Right, exactly. At what point do you stop plumbing? It's almost like you get too rich.
Yeah. I also can imagine, like there's some plumber who's like a billionaire, and it's between like his wife and kids driving him crazy at home, or I go fix this guy's shitter. It's like I gotta go to work, kids. hop on the PJ and go clean some poop. What a fucking life.
You get that way with like actors and famous people, where you're like, aren't you just tired of working? Like, just stop.
Just
right.
keep going.
You're not dealing with feces daily. Like,
right.
Like I fix feces. and one of those like fatbergs or whatever, like when like a bunch of tampons and diapers get stuck in a pipe, they call me. Like,
yeah. I mean, at some point you have to get desensitized to it. Like, I feel like after doing it for probably a year, you've seen it all, right? And nothing bothers you.
And then the rest, after a year, you have like a 30-year career after that, where you're not even bothered.
Exactly.
No, but that's not how it goes. You see in cop shows when they walk into some like massacre and they're like, I thought I'd seen it all. That's like a grizzled plumber.
Yeah, there's always going to be a person that's going to top it.
Yeah.
So the main reason I asked you to come on the show, and it has nothing to do with the fact that you're in a great new movie or any of that shit. I saw the clip of you and Jessa May talking about looking at her asshole, and I was like, this girl would be perfect for our show.
Like,
I don't know what that
one.
says. I don't know if that says anything about you or us, but that was like literally I texted my booker in that moment, was like, Talk to Carly.
That's so funny. Yeah, that's Jessie May and I have we've been friends for a long time. So like I've actually seen, she's one of my only friends that I've actually seen her butthole. Like I've seen it, like I've looked at it with my eyes. And I'm going to tell you right now, you imagine what someone's butthole looks like sometimes, right? But you don't really experience it until you're looking it straight in the face. So her and I, like our friendship is like, we can never not be friends.
Right. Like no matter what happens between you two, you can be like, yo, sorry, like I murdered your parents. It's like, well, whatever. I've seen your asshole. So. I've
seen her butthole at this point. So you can't go lower. That can never go away. You know, it's burned in my brain.
Can I ask how this came about? Because I have not seen the clip.
Well, I saw her, we were in Miami and of course.
Asshole stories are always in Miami.
Yeah, of course we were in Miami. And we were on a vacation between shows. Like we had a show on Friday and then we had a show on Monday in Miami at colleges. So we were like, oh, whatever, we're not going to fly home. Let's stay. And one night we were sharing a hotel room. I was being a little angel. I was facing the wall. I may have been like trying to fall asleep or whatever. And she was in the bed next to me and started screaming my name. So I turned around and it was just her butthole in my face. So
classic.
It wasn't like an accident. I want to make that very clear. Like she did it. And then I kept turning away and looking back like, oh my God, is it still going to be there? Like I didn't, but I couldn't stop looking at it. You know, it was like mesmerizing in a way.
No, I know.
I get it. Yeah, like I mean, it's pretty much like once you hit like I don't know, fucking 18, maybe earlier. All guys are trying to do is look at girls' assholes. So we know, we get it, we totally understand.
Oh man, that's true. I never thought of that.
That's all we do. That's it.
I remember Kumail Nanjiani, oddly enough, who I don't know if he sends out tweets like this anymore.
Probably not. I know where you're going, and I don't think he says this stuff anymore.
I think he's a little too mainstream for popping off like this. But he had a tweet like a while back where he said something along the lines like, he can't watch anal porn because then he can't see the butthole. I was like, Kumail! My goodness, dude.
So true. So funny.
Oh my God, that's so funny. Yeah, I don't, maybe I'll just never understand the fascination with it. From guys.
Neither do I. I don't either, but it's just programmed into our brains.
Really,
it's like you want to see something you're not supposed to see. That's what it is. That's the male like thing.
Yep.
Yeah, but like that, there's nothing. I don't understand anything. There's nothing about it. Even when I'm hungry, I don't understand. I'm like, why? What's the deal? What's wrong with me here? There's no part of my body that just like makes sense or my thought process. Everything is confusing.
It's all a catastrophe.
I'm still going through puberty, I think is what we're getting at.
You know, it's funny though. You say like you always want to see what you can't see. And like there's a porn star I like who doesn't show her face and constantly shows her asshole.
Really?
And I just want to see her face now. I'm like, enough of your beautiful asshole. Just show me your eyes and your nose. Come on.
Right. Exactly. It's mysterious. It's a good like shtick for her to have. That's a good bit.
Right. 100%.
Well, what would you do if you saw her face and you didn't like it?
I'd probably start looking at her asshole.
You know how they say in in olden times when it was like, ooh, girl, you're nasty. Like, show me your ankles. Like, if you didn't show me your ankles, I'd be like, well,
let me see them.
What's that ankle look like?
Yeah, show me that bone. Show me that heel, girl.
Exactly.
Got any bunions down there? What are we working with? So, King of Staten Island seems to be a smash.
Yeah.
Like people are liking it.
It seems like people are liking it. I'm really excited about it. It's something that, I was so excited for so long for it to come out because we shot it last summer and then it was like, everything it couldn't have gotten more like off the rails, but it ended up coming out on demand and on like streaming and stuff, and it's been doing really well. So I'm happy about it. I'm really proud of all my friends that are involved in it, and it was just a cool experience.
We talked to Ricky and Bill Burr about it. I think going on demand was probably good. I think that was like a good, that type of movie for like this demo and this time. I actually feel like it's better than going in theaters.
Yeah. I know. I agree too. Like, it's like everybody's already home as it is. So Why not throw something else on there? I mean, I've watched all of Netflix and I've
whole
watched all
fucking
of
thing.
Hulu.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've seen it all. Like people, I'm like, oh, what should I watch? And people are saying shit. I'm like, I watched that like week 1. Like
Yeah.
I'm done. I've been done with Netflix.
What's been at like the top of your list?
Oh God, there's so much good. There's so many good shows out. I've recently been watching, this is trash. Okay.
Good.
But I've been watching 90 Day Fiance. Have you ever?
The best.
Oh
I mean,
my God.
it's the best and the worst all at the same time because I'm pretty sure it's just like kind of human trafficking, but whatever. It's all good.
But it's like very interesting to see the people like, and now I'm watching, because I finished all the 90 Day Fiance available. Now I'm watching 90 Day Fiance before the 90 days, which is even better. Because
Wait, is that the full title?
You
Yes.
get, yes.
Before the 90 days, yes.
Before the 90 days.
Before the 90 days.
Exactly.
Great.
It's like the prequel.
Yeah.
And it's so interesting because it's like these people, you see them meet for the first time and you're like, wow, this is truly like, there was a guy who, one of these girls lived on the Amazon River, and this guy has never left Kentucky before. Okay. And the way he dresses and like his mannerisms, he looks like a guy that like works the overnight shift at like CVS. You know what vibe I'm giving you right now?
Right.
It's like he wears those like black leather, like sneaker boots with the leather, like with the black sole. Do you know what shoes I'm talking about? They're like orthopedic style.
Yes. Yep.
He goes to meet this girl, and he flies to Brazil and then takes a 2-day boat ride to get to her hut.
So this dude like works at the CVS and he marries Xena Warrior Princess.
He literally marries Xena Warrior Princess, and the girl is so hot, and he's cuckoo. And I'm just like, this is so insane. It's just wild. This guy.
It's like you can't look away. It's mesmerizing. It's like looking at someone's asshole. You're just like, this is a train wreck. I can't stop.
You can see that I have a pattern here.
I've learned that I have a problem with, because I don't like those shows.
Okay.
But I love hearing about them. Like I like drama. I just don't like seeing it because then it becomes real and it's like weird. When I see the faces, like I like creating the image in my head. I like being told stories of drama rather than actually watching two psychopaths get married in 90 days.
Well, the
that
dude,
was an awesome story. I love that story. I could not watch that on TV.
The dude who had the squished head was really the one that like blew it up. That's kind of when it went mainstream because he is a fucking creature. Alien, and like his wife didn't even speak English. That was wild. Right.
He was the reason why I started watching the damn show, because I've been seeing these memes about this guy who has no neck. Okay. His neck is nowhere to be found.
Like his shoulders and his ears touch. It's crazy.
Unfortunately, I have seen it.
Yeah.
Yes.
In fact, someone tweeted today, this is what happens when you hit Chris D'Elia in the head with a.
I saw
that was so good. With a mallet.
I saw that.
With a mallet. Oh my God.
So much better than Sledgehammer. Mallet.
That's such great writing.
Yeah. Great writing. I know. I saw that. Isn't it annoying sometimes when you see people like just on Twitter being so funny?
Yo, the amount of funny people in the world, when you try to do it for a living or, whatever we do, you more specifically when you're like doing stand up, we just kind of shoot the shit. But when I just see some asshole with like 162 followers who said something funnier than I ever will, I'm like, oh, damn it.
Because it's like they have no pressure, right? No one's going to be like, okay, clown, like delete it.
Right.
Because they have nobody's really, it's just a few people following them. So they have no pressure and they're just like, it's effortless.
It's beautiful.
It's effortless. I get so angry, but also good for them because that was a funny tweet.
Yeah. This D'Elia shit is wild though, huh? I mean,
I know. I've been like following it like I'm on the case.
Yeah.
Like somebody hired me.
I didn't follow for that long before I went, not good. I was on the case and I closed it pretty fast.
I wasn't searching for like a definitive, because people are like, well, show me the facts. And it's like, well, the facts are out there. Like they're definitely out there.
Well, you know what? You're going to go down. There's going to be people talking about what the legality of age consent, all this shit. It's like, fine. But this is not good. We can all agree this is not good.
I do feel like if we have to argue about if it's legal or not, depending on which state, it's probably too young.
Probably not good. General rule of thumb, if you have to like call your lawyer and ask beforehand, just fucking don't do it.
You have to look up the state.
Yeah, that's a problem.
It's bad. It's not good.
Yeah. When everyone was calling him a pedophile, it reminded me of, I forget what comedian has this bit, but I was dying. It's like, he's like, I'm not a pedophile. Like a pedophile doesn't just like kids. A pedophile does just like kids. It's actually an effinophile who likes 17 to 19-year-olds or whatever. It's like the problem with that is you can't explain it without sounding like a pedophile.
Again, same thing. If you know that term and you've looked it up and you have the receipts on that one, not good.
Right. Exactly. I just feel like it's so weird because here's the thing, like 100% he fucked up. Like, I'm not even denying that. I'm not looking for a reason to not say that. I do think that there has to be like a line somewhere where like his friend circle now is getting dragged, like because they may have been complacent, which we don't know. I mean, we don't know what his friends know. So I feel like there has to be, that's like the only thing that I'm like, you know, now they have this responsibility and it sucks. Like he's friends with a lot of people, a lot of great comedians, a lot of funny people and talented, successful, whatever. So I'm like, that part about it sucks. If they were complacent, then that's fucked up. But we can't just assume everybody knew about this like creepy side of him. You know,
I mean, we had him on our show one time, and I've tweeted about him here and there, like as a fan, and people were like, "Are you going to say something about your boy?" And it was like, I don't really know this guy, but even I felt like I had to say something, and I can't imagine that crew that's like
But if it happened to you, I would be like, "What the fuck?" I put out some tweet. I would.
You have to say something.
You have to address it. And that's fine. But it's like, are they responsible?
Yeah,
because we don't know what they knew.
Right.
So it's like,
yeah, everybody's responsible for their own shit, and I'm not going to go down because you fucking had some creepy tendencies,
Right, and this is like, wow, like I've met him before, and I've like followed him for years, and I always was like a fan of his podcast and spoke like very highly of him. So it's just like it is shocking for someone who's a fan of his. Like I don't fucking, I don't know the guy.
Have you? I mean, so you've been in the game for like whatever you said, almost 10 years, 7, 8, 9 years. Are you like surprised? I mean, a lot of these comics now, you kind of know the business. Does this shit still like shock you?
That's a good question. I feel like nothing will shock me at this point. Like I really do feel that way. I feel like I don't think anything will shock anybody at this point. Like if an alien came down and started fucking zapping people, I would be like, yeah,
thank God.
This is happening. And I'm not shocked.
2020, they got us again.
Right. Exactly. Like, I don't think anything can shock us at this point. Like, we're so desensitized to being shocked by things. Like, nothing will ever surprise me.
Is Girl Code still on? Are you still with that?
No, it's not on anymore. They're doing like, next week we're shooting like a kind of like a reunion, like quarantine style episode, like from our houses.
So obviously if you're doing a reunion show, that's something you still cool with. I feel like sometimes people, they get, they start out on something and then they think they're like above it or better than it or like ashamed of it or whatever. And it's like,
no, I don't feel that way about it. I feel like, Girl Code and MTV were like really the thing that gave me my platform and launched my career. So I'll always do, stuff with them in whatever way. I'm never like, oh, I can't do that. That's silly.
Do you feel like
it's like a one-time thing, Yeah.
It's like you might as well just embrace that fun with it.
How much of your past do you find silly?
What do you mean?
Like how much would you say is silly? Like Kevin's like people who like embarrassed of things they used to do. What percentage of things are you embarrassed you've done in your life?
Me?
Yeah.
Like work stuff?
And all stuff, just stuff.
Oh God, I'm embarrassed of everything.
Yeah, exactly. That is the correct answer.
It's not even like, like things like from a year ago. It's like, no, like yesterday, probably I did something that was embarrassing, or a week ago I did something that was embarrassing. Like I don't
get mad
at nighttime. Like I'll be up and be like, oh, I said something dumb 2 months ago at a party. And I feel really dumb about it.
You know what's the worst is when you get like an old retweet. You ever see like right before you go to bed, someone like retweeted a tweet from like 2 weeks ago?
Right.
Like, oh no, that time has passed.
You're like, that's the old me.
That's the old me. I'm changed. Okay, I'm different now.
That's the old me. Like, oh, that's so.
I'll get upset when someone in the morning gets favorited. I'm like, no, fuck, that was 12 hours ago. We should all delete right away. It's. Well, I guess maybe
it's true. It's true. Yeah, I feel that way about literally everything.
I feel it, like you said,
those last.
it could be yesterday, a week ago, but I'm also sitting here thinking about like that time in gym class in 7th grade when I like farted doing the sit-ups and I'm just mortified about it. You know, it's like there are just things in my life that I will never get over. And I will think about them in the shower every day for the rest of my life.
Right. Oh, exactly. Exactly. Some people don't have that, and it's very impressive.
Bullshit.
Really? See,
I don't know. I'm calling bullshit.
I think there are people who say they don't care. Fuck them. I think there are people who don't care, and they're like, "That's crazy." Like you have a mental disorder if you're not embarrassed by yourself.
Right. You know? Right. Exactly.
Do you ever wonder, like, what's your best childhood memory? Like you remember that shit, but like, do you have one where you're like, that was fun?
But best childhood memory. See, that's true. You remember the
John, you're scaring our guest.
But no, I'm thinking like what my best childhood memory is. I mean, childhood is so simple.
Oh, it's the best. Know? It's the best. I always say this for guys, and I don't know if it applies to girls. What?
I don't know that it was the best. I don't have any memory of it.
No, listen, I always said that like there was a period of time for me as like a boy where I was like still really good at Little League baseball before it got like you have to be really athletic to play. Mm-hmm. I was riding my bike, like just riding around in circles.
All the time.
Probably playing some video games, maybe starting to dabble in porn. And that was the perfect sweet spot. If I could go back to that age and just live that on a constant loop, I'd do it in a heartbeat.
Not a care in the world. You're not too young where it's like, I'm a baby.
Right.
And you're not like old enough to have responsibilities. You're like of maturing.
And not yet poisoned by like, I have to get laid and I have to drink, you know, like all the time. It was simpler times.
Right. Great. Exactly. That's true. That's like the highlight. Those are the highlight years.
What's the equivalent for a girl? Is it the same sort of shit? You guys aren't really
It's probably the same stuff.
Yeah.
I do feel like when I was younger, like when I was like a teenager, I was like in such a rush to be an adult. Mm-hmm. Like I feel like you always have to prove like, oh no, I'm not a little kid anymore. It's like a weird transitional stage. Mm-hmm. So I do feel like it's probably not the same for girls because like we have like that stretch of time between like 14 and 17 where it's like, wow, you're a monster.
Yeah. Oh my God.
It's like, you're not a good person. You like say things that are so like, I still apologize to my mom for shit that I said when I was 14 years old.
So
I'm sorry.
I have a 4-year-old daughter right now, and everyone keeps telling me like, wait till about 13. She's going to fucking hate you. And I'm like, no. She's gonna hate her mom. I'm gonna find a way to be the cool. Yeah, she's gonna hate me.
No, she's definitely gonna hate you too.
You hate everybody at that age, don't you?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Especially anybody that's like trying to discipline you.
Yeah, no shit.
Because you're like, I'm a woman. Right. You know, but you're not. You're 13 years old.
Anytime people are like, I'm an adult, I'm like, I'm 35 and I'm not a fucking adult.
Right, exactly.
And you think you are at like 15?
Yeah.
All you could do is hook up with Chris D'Elia. You don't know anything else. Give me a break.
Exactly.
I think that the younger generation though is gonna have a hard time with like insulting you with social media. Like if Shay ever yells at you, you can just open your mentions and be like, bring the heat next time.
Yeah, that is true.
This is what I've dealt with every day for 15 years.
Although, did you see the blog that Tyler put up the other day with the TikTok? With the kids on TikTok talking shit about the boomers?
Oh, but that was funny. That was so funny.
These kids, Carly, it was just like somebody posted a TikTok and then all the comments were other TikTok kids making fun of like old people, which in this case is like 22-year-olds.
Right.
And it was just like, all they do is talk about like whether they're a Hufflepuff or a Slytherin from Harry Potter. And the kids on TikTok were like, oh shit.
It was like, I just need some wine and pizza. Like, Rebecca, sit down. You're an alcoholic.
Grow up and do a line of Coke, Rebecca. You're an adult. So fucking good.
That's so funny. I don't have a TikTok. I've seen a bunch of the ones that like obviously they're going viral right now. I kind of feel like I want to get an account, but I feel like I'm too old.
You are.
You're like I'm too old. Yeah,
you are an old lady.
I'm an old hag.
You could be legitimately close to 10 years younger than you are and still be too old.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. I also feel like there's people that I know that are around my age or older than me that are on it. And it's just, sometimes it hits you like, it's like the dancing and the mouthing words.
And like the thing at the end where they all go like this.
What are you doing?
They all look at the camera and go, like stick their tongue out or some shit. I'm like, come on.
33. What are you doing? Just
we have a girl who works for us. This girl Rhea, who's 22 years old, and people chirp her for being.
She's 22. They're
22.
like, get off that app, you old lady. She's like, I just want to have fun dancing, guys.
Right. The dance challenges are like the thing that probably made TikTok like so famous, right?
Yep. Yeah. I mean, that's the other problem too, is that, Twitter, you can crack a joke. Instagram, you put up a picture of like your drink. TikTok's like, here's a coordinated dance, learn it for the next 3 days, and then, do 35 takes of it.
Right. And be really good at it. Yeah,
I've always said the I can't wait to be dead for this sweet, sweet release of never having to download another social media app. Because like, how many more are we gonna do? Like, in another decade, I'm gonna have to download like 5 more. I can't keep up anymore.
Right. Wow, these guys are making so much money though, right?
So much.
These like creators, these fucking guys that are like, oh, I mean, what is even TikTok? Nobody knows what the fuck it is and why it's different, right?
No, I mean the amount of kids who are like making so much more money than me.
Wild.
It is fucking. I try not to be a hater. I try to be like, good for you, kids. But on the inside, I'm like, I hope you die in a fire.
Yeah,
I want all your money.
There's that meme of like a little clown in a tiny clown car, and it's like me on my way to work in the morning when I realized that 12-year-old kid made $60 million on YouTube.
Yep. It's terrible. It's like, and they live the life. They're rich and they're pretty and they're in the sun. And
right. It's like, we get it. We get it.
Yeah. Stop rubbing it in. So what's next? What's like, I feel like it's weird when you do start so early and have like a pretty great deal of success right away. Like, you just got to keep up with this.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like right now at this point in time, it's not like, oh, I'm going on the road and blah, blah, blah. Because I always do stand up. Like, I never stop doing stand up.
Is that what your like forte would be? Like, you're a stand up comic?
I started out, that's like my first thing that I started out doing. Right. But then I got into TV stuff, and then I did like a lot of like talking head, like commentary, like comedian commentary, like for TV. And very recently I started getting booked, like doing like little things for acting, like for example, King of Staten Island. So we'll see what happens next. It's hard to be like, this is what I want, because I pretty much like, I would be happy with whatever. What I really feel like I would want to focus more on is acting, and some like TV stuff, maybe some hosting stuff.
Do you have like acting background, or that's just like kind of in your personality?
I definitely don't have an acting background. Like, I'm always so impressed when people are like, oh, I went to this special high school and I was in theater when I was a kid and blah, blah, blah. It's like, I never, did that. So
did you take any classes or anything? You just let it fly?
Yeah, I take classes pretty regularly. Like in the last, like I would say probably 3 or 4 years. So I'm still new at it, but I take classes.
Is that weird? We had Logan Paul on probably a little while back. And
oh my God, really?
Yeah, yeah. I love Logan. Yeah. Logan's my boy. One of the most misunderstood guys out there.
Yeah, I've never met him. Actually, I have met him. I met him, God, it was probably like 4 or 5 years ago, and he was nice.
Yeah.
We have met him. But like,
I think he was the original, like before TikTok, it was like, fuck these YouTubers who are making money. And, and then he had like a couple missteps where people jumped all over him, but like, he's just a normal dude who has like a good sense of humor and like a friendly guy. He just happens to be like tall, fucking white and rich. So people are like, fuck you,
Right. Yeah. Sorry, what were you going to say?
When I was asking him, like, is it weird being known already and being in acting class? Like, are you nervous when you're in class to be like, are people going to know who I am? Like, and that like, like I shouldn't be here.
With me, I never felt that way with someone like him. I mean, he's so fucking famous and he's in LA, which is like everyone's an actor. Right. So it's like, are either of you guys in LA?
No, we're in New York.
No, you're New York. Yeah. So it's like everyone in LA is an actor. Like your Uber driver that drives you to the bar, and then your bartender, and then fucking everybody else sits at the bar. Mm-hmm. So it's just, I would see it being more like, for him, I would think it would be real difficult. But for me, no. The classes that I take are usually like 5 or 6 people, and it's not weird.
You're in New York.
Them bigger, like in a Barry type setting where it's like almost not an amphitheater, but sure, a mini amphitheater inside. The exact opposite. like the stadium seating type deal where it's like I just figured they were like 50
That's probably more in LA, right? I'd imagine we just need to have more bodies in the class, but in New York it's probably a lot more small.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure it's all different everywhere. I'm sure there are different types of classes. I like it better when there's like it's a smaller class because I feel like you get more time with the teacher. And also you have to watch everybody. So watching like 30 people would probably get a little boring.
So we know where Carly's at, where she's like, all right, I'm done with my part. Can I just get the fuck out of here? I have to watch all you guys.
I like watching people because I like hearing like the teacher, but I mean, that's like hours.
Overkill.
That's like a full day of school and you get to do your thing for a minute. Yeah.
Are you going to be, are you like New York for life? I feel like most people in your spot by now would have made the move out to LA.
Yeah, I've been trying to avoid LA. I don't have a problem with it, but I'm just like from New York. My family's here. I love New York. I can't picture myself like ever permanently living in California, even though it's beautiful and my way of life would probably be a lot easier. Maybe it's just like the New Yorker in me that's like, no, I need to be miserable.
So I'm from New York, like through and through also. But
Where are you from?
I'm from the Bronx.
You're from the Bronx. Okay.
Yeah. Are you from Staten Island? Or is that just
No, I'm from Long Island. Same thing.
Okay. Yeah, same shit. Just a different
I'm still
island.
an island gal. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I'm like, at this point, I'm like, when you're not going out, I got kids now, so I'm not going out. I'm not enjoying the good part of New York, but I'm still paying more money and dealing with the fucking garbage. And now it's the fucking center of death. Right. I'm like, what am I doing here? Yet I can also guarantee you I'm never going to leave. I don't know what that's about.
Right. I don't know either. Cause I'm like my friends that live in LA that have the same rent as me. I mean, they like have such a better
mansion.
It's like wild how much of a better life you have.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I just feel like also I don't drive. So I feel like that would be like
you don't like to drive or like you don't do it?
I don't drive, period.
Do you have a license?
Not anymore. No, it expired. I never renewed it because, so I got my driver's license when I was like the age, like 17, 18. I failed my road test 8 times. 8 times. To the point where like I had the same instructor several times. Like each instructor I had more than once.
I feel like there should be like, you get 5 and then you're just not fit to drive.
2. You should get 2. Yeah, 2. That's it. You should not get more than 2. Like 2, you're bad. You're a bad driver. You always will be.
Yeah.
But yeah, I failed 8 times and my parents, I didn't even want to drive. I never had any desire to drive and my parents were like, we're not like our life, like their life became driving me to work and picking me up from work and driving me to school, picking me up from school. My parents are like, we're not like chauffeurs. Like the point of you getting older was that you like start to do things
self-sufficient. Yeah.
And I was like, well, that's dumb. Like, I definitely don't want to do that, but
no
whatever.
Thanks.
So
understood. Thanks, but no thanks.
I was like thrilled to fail the fucking road test. I was like, I don't even care about driving. I'll drive with my fucking eyes closed. I don't want my license.
Going up drinking a beer.
Yeah, exactly. I don't put the seatbelt on, just like go in reverse. So I ended up getting my road test. I got like a little Toyota Corolla. And I drove for about 2 months before I totaled. I got into a really bad car accident, and then I never drove again for the rest of my life.
That's fair. I thought you were just like, I don't drive, because that's what I do. I also don't drive. I hate driving.
Where do you live?
I live in New York, but I'm in Massachusetts now.
You're in Massachusetts, so how are you getting around in Massachusetts? You take
Although he can, Carly. He's an adult, but he just doesn't like to.
Yeah,
no,
I choose not to.
I choose.
Okay, that's very bourgeois.
Yeah, it is. Well, that's one word for it.
It's called fucking being a lazy, inconsiderate asshole. But sure, bourgeois.
It's French.
Me and a friend who like also hated to drive used to like, you know, when we carpool like in college and stuff like that, we'd have like, it would be an unspoken contest where like when we first showed up, we'd like just crack a beer and see if we get drunk faster. To be like, well, I can't drive back home now.
That's so funny. Yeah, I mean, driving is, some people love it, but to me, it scares the shit out of me. I especially could never drive in New York City. I live in Brooklyn, so it's just like, why would I do that?
Honestly, that's the more reasonable take here. I think it's kind of weird that like, we talked about this just a couple weeks ago on the podcast that like you can have the same like 15-year-old girl we were talking about who doesn't know shit about the world. We're like, here's your learner's permit. Take these keys and go operate this like 5-ton piece of fucking metal.
Right.
Why is that the standard?
Right. With your cell phone. Like drive.
Right.
100%. In your hand and drive.
Yeah.
And make that's the best.
TikToks while driving.
People doing TikToks while driving.
Yeah.
Okay. What are you doing?
No, you're probably right. None of us should be driving.
Even if I was very safe, I would still feel unsafe because the people on the road.
Yeah.
They don't know what the hell they're doing. They're not paying attention half the time. So I'm good. Just
30,
like
I got good, and I very rarely drive. But when I turned 30, I got like I don't know if it was that age, but a little older. I was like, all right, enough texting and driving, John. And I'm like really good at just not having my phone now. But that means there were 14 years where I was having texting and driving.
Exactly. I like that 30. You were like, it's time.
Yeah, I'm an adult.
I'm 30 now, so I gotta not break the law every day.
Toilets and we don't text and drive.
All right, Carly. Well, we appreciate the time. You've been killing it for a long time, and I think bigger things are
This was so
ahead,
fun.
So you got it. Anytime.
By the way, Carly, I was listening to the podcast this morning.
Yeah.
The tattoo artist, he's fine.
The tattoo artist?
Yeah, he was tattooing his. So as I recall, someone called in Carly's podcast is Secret Keepers Club, right?
Right. Yes, I have a podcast called Secret Keepers Club. I'm remembering. Oh, the tattoo art. Wait a minute.
Oh,
fine.
Oh, you got Long Island on me fast.
What?
Wait a minute.
Give me the scoop. Give me the scoop.
So a girl wrote in, and if this is what you're talking about, number one, I'm canceling out of the Zoom. I'm canceling my Wi-Fi. I'm going to call Verizon Fios and say, don't even make it possible for anyone to contact me for the rest of my life. So if this is the same thing. So the tattoo artist, he had a girlfriend. His girlfriend wrote into my podcast saying she had a problem with a girl that her boyfriend was working with. She just got out of a long relationship or marriage, and he tattooed her ass.
He's a tattoo artist.
But it's his friend. She didn't pay him. She's an employee at the shop.
That's for the love of the game. He's an artiste. Would you, if you were dating someone who painted nude models, would you consider that a problem?
If he started painting a new model of Brenda, the girl that I don't like that he works with, or whatever the hell her name is, or some random girl at CVS, that we know, no.
It was. I remember. I was like blown away. I was like, "Hang on, he was just tattooing her ass, and this is even a question." And then I realized he's a tattoo artist, and I was like, "Well, that's what he does. That's his job."
I thought the way you set that up, I was like, I hope that John is not condoning someone here who did something really bad. He's a tattoo artist. You get a fucking mom tattoo on your butt. You get a heart on your butt. It's fucking walk in the park. It's 2020. That ain't shit.
But it's a girl that has been flirting with her boyfriend for a long time.
He hasn't been flirting with her.
She's inappropriate. She talks to him about stuff. She calls him all the time.
Okay, this is
where I think girls, you have a right to be more mad at her because she's definitely trying to fuck your boyfriend, and I think you have a right to be mad at your boyfriend because we're dumb like that, where it's just I know this is inappropriate, but I just don't really fucking care. But he's not doing anything inherently wrong. He's just being an idiot.
Well, he knows that she doesn't like this girl.
Yeah, but you girls don't like any girls. Your girlfriend does not like any other girls. Yes,
that's not true. I like girls
that are talking to your boyfriend or socializing with them.
I don't care. I
would have said that's not true until recently. I think it's fine now. But here's my question to you, Carly. Okay. Would you rather be dating a guy that no one at work wanted to hook up with? Or that has to deal with something like this?
Yes.
Oh, no, because then you're dating a fucking loser.
Then you're dating another loser.
That's fine. I've done it before. I'll do it again. You think that scares me? That's where I thrive.
That's my sweet spot.
Yeah, fuck that.
Put a ring on that. Give me the biggest loser. Give me some fucking plumber who's a loser who's going to be rich one day.
I'll put you in the phone with my mom.
Can he drive me to work? Exactly. Then we're good.
Exactly. The bar is on the floor. There is no bar. There's no bar.
I love it. Well, go check out the podcast, and you'll catch her on King of Staten Island, and you'll see her on much, much more in the future. Carly, thanks so much.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Bye. Yo, I don't know if there's a bigger flex than just being I don't drive. I don't do it. That's like what a sultan would do. Like, I don't know. You have to transport me wherever I need to go. That's special right there. But it really is, like I said, it's probably the more reasonable thing is to not drive than to drive.
It's one day we'll look back on it as a crazy time. We just let people drive cars for like 100 years.
Anybody.
100 years. I don't remember I don't know when it was invented.
Absolutely like, anybody for 200 years could whip these things around. And it's not like we haven't proven it wrong. They're like 200,000 people a year die or whatever. And we're like, we got to do what we got to do. Let's talk to Kevin Bacon. He's back. One of our biggest like KFC radio crushes ever. And he's back to promote his new movie that's out today.
You should have left.
You should have left, which looks scary as fuck. And me, I am a big Stir of Echoes fan, one of Bacon's older movies. And so this seems right up that alley. So if you like Stir of Echoes, you're going to love that. So let's talk to Kev about the new movie and all that's going on in the crazy world right now.
There he is.
There's the dude. How are you, Kev?
How's it going, fellas?
We're doing all right, man. How about you?
Getting through.
It's early over there for you, huh?
Yeah, what are you doing up right now?
I'm on the East Coast.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought you were getting up at 7 a.m. for an interview, and that would have been crazy.
No. Well, I would. I'm an early riser, so I would have done that.
Are sure. You live out west, though, right?
I go back and forth.
Okay. Have you been doing most of quarantine here or there?
Here.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. I would have. No, when I say here, I mean I'm in Connecticut.
Right. Yeah. I feel like the move would have been to get the hell out of the East and go west. No.
Yeah. But that's not the way it kind of panned out. Just family, et cetera. You know.
I hear you, man. It's crazy times.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you got this new movie coming out, and I decided to watch the trailer last night before I went to bed, and I turned it off, Kev. I gotta be honest. I think in my older years, I'm getting a little soft when it comes to movies. But that movie looks fucking creepy, man. It looks good.
Yeah, it's scary. You know, I've been a fan of scary movies for a long time. I was in the very first Friday the 13th. That was the first scary movie that I did. Did you get killed? Yeah, I had the classic. You know, that was one of those like slasher type movies. Not necessarily the kind of horror that I'm drawn to. You know, I'm more of like a Exorcist, Rosemary's Baby type horror guy. And but I had the classic horror movie Death, where you had sex with a girl and lit up a joint and
that's perfect. That's like
if you're gonna go. This is not a bad way to go.
Yeah. I mean, every time you see somebody do that, I mean, I think there was kind of like this idea with horror that maybe there was you had to put some strange moral kind of message in there about making that you're going to get your throat slit if you make the wrong choices. So I did that one, and then I was in Hollow Man and did a few other things. I mean, I like
Stir of Echoes. I think is one of the most underrated movies ever. I love Stir of Echoes.
Well, Stir of Echoes, I made that with the same writer and director as You Should Have Left.
Oh, nice.
So after we did Stir of Echoes, I kept saying to him, you know, I really want to do this again with you. I really enjoyed the experience, and unlike a lot of situations, you know, in Hollywood, we actually maintained a friendship over a long period of time, me and him, and I finally wore him down, but it took 20 years. Just saying, come on, let's make something scary again, contained and, you know, in a house. And finally, what really happened was that I was talking to Kira, to my wife, about ideas for horror movies that could be done, you know, relatively inexpensively. And she said, well, what about a horror movie surrounding a marriage? And I'm not really sure how I should take that. That was her suggestion. And so Dave and I started to bat that, you know, idea around. And we, you know, we're kind of in the middle of it. He was pretty close to, I mean, I think he had already written an outline. He's a brilliant writer and has had amazing ideas around this thing. And I read this book randomly which was a translation of a German novel called You Should Have Left. And I don't know if you've ever experienced this, but sometimes I guess they call it zeitgeist. Like one idea will be over here, and then you'll read something that's really close. And so these two ideas were almost identical. So I said, David, I think we should see if we can get in touch with the writer of the book and see if we can, base our movie kind of on this book. And
what a moment for that guy, huh? Like all these years later, just gets a call from Kevin Bacon and like, can we make it into a movie?
Yeah, well, he's had other movies made into German films before. He's an excellent writer, and our movie is very different than the book of You Should Have Left, but I recommend the book as well. It's 100 pages, and so it kind of reads like, which is good for me because I'm not
that's right up my alley.
I'm much of a reader. But it was really we really enjoyed making the movie, and we're very, very proud of it. It works.
Now let's take the movie out of it, right? Let's say Kevin Bacon and the family are on vacation and they're staying at a house, and you wake up one night or one morning and in your notebook it says it wasn't You Shouldn't Have. Well, I forget what the first note says, but it was like basically like, get the hell out of my house. Do you leave, or do you stick around and try and figure out why the house is talking to you?
I'm the type of guy that would probably stick around.
Yeah, why? Your throat slash like in Friday the 13th. Why would you say?
I know. And my wife would say, "We are out of here. We are absolutely out of here." I don't know. Because I have this thing where like if there's something I want to try to like fix it, but I can tell you that because of our job, not so much vacation, but because of the fact that we have. I was thinking, between the two of us, I mean, we've almost worked in almost every state in the union, because, you do a lot of work in LA and in New York, but we've been at this a long time. And a lot of times we're in rented houses in very, very kind of like, small towns or big towns or whatever, but and there's something about going into a place where a family has moved out of in order to make the money on you renting it. That can be very strange. And in fact, David, really focused on in the movie. And there's a wall where there's just hooks for pictures. All the pictures have been taken down because people, are taking away anything personal that's in the house. And there's always one closet that has a lock on it. And they put all their own personal shit. And it's just, it's like, there's a very strange thing about that. We've experienced that exact same thing. In fact, when I went to London to make the movie, we shot it in Wales partly and then partly in London. I moved into this flat, and sure enough, there was a wall of hooks, and I took a picture of it and sent it to David and said, "You were right on the money with this."
Yeah. So let me ask you: do you believe in any of this stuff? Supernatural? Nothing.
No, I often say, because I've done a few different, ghosty type movies, Stir of Echoes being one of them. I'd love to see a ghost. I really would. I would love to have some kind of a supernatural, experience. It's never happened. I mean, it's not so much that I don't believe in it. Like I think people that have had, or believe in the occult or like to get their tarot cards read or whatever, stupid. I don't have a real judgment about that. If it gives you some kind of peace or clarity, or you feel like you can speak to your loved ones, that I think that's cool. It's just that it's never happened to me. Yeah, I mean, I've played with a Ouija board before, but
what about aliens? You believe in aliens?
Not really.
What?
No, not really. But
nothing.
No,
I don't think there's anything out there.
It's not that I. It's just that I just want to. I would just have to have some kind of a close encounter for me to go, oh yeah. But that being said, there's a lot of content, as you know, movies and all kinds of genres and television shows that are all kind of based on things that we can't explain, and I like them. I'm a fan of them. I find them interesting, and So maybe there's a part of me that kind of subconsciously is ready to accept something supernatural. I don't know.
Kevin's met ghosts before.
Yeah, I had a house. I don't live there anymore, but I had one night that like genuinely scared the shit out of me where, I mean, it was just absolutely footsteps going back and forth on an upstairs hallway. And I checked the kids and I checked my wife at the time. Like everybody was in bed. Everything was silent. And I was like, I remember laying in bed being like, what do I do? Like, do I call someone? Do I run, like grab them and run out of the house? Because it's kind of like the first question we asked you. It's like, you know, do you really run out of this house because you're afraid of something silly or what? And I mean, I just sat there and the morning came and nothing happened. But in the moment I was like, well, this is like what I always say in the movies. I'm not going to be the guy who just sits around and waits until he dies. Let's go. And then I just sat there.
Yeah. That's the age old question. Who are you going to call? Right.
So what have you been up to in quarantine, Kevin? Because I feel like everyone at the start of quarantine was like, I'm gonna learn guitar. I was gonna learn the ukulele, learn Spanish, read books. I feel like you do everything already. Like you had the Bacon Brothers just put out a new song, so your music got that box checked. You said you like to read, box checked. What do you do? What do you need to learn?
Let's see. I think for right now, I think this is actually a great learning moment just to see the protests and I think the exposure that we have in a really deep way to how people are, a lot of people are really hurting and really angry in this country, and I'm taking this as a learning, teachable moment. So that involves, you know, reading, writing, and mostly just listening. You know, listening to people, and you know, I'm someone who spent a lot of my life, honestly, believing that I knew everything there was to know about everything. For whatever reason, I kind of came
confidence.
Yeah, I mean, nature or nurture, or maybe it's a way to mask a deeper insecurity. I don't really know. But when it came to acting, I felt like I knew everything. When it came to music, I felt like I knew everything. When it came to politics and history and race and all these kinds of things, and thinking of myself as an empathetic person and a woke person, a liberal person, and I think that I'm at a point in my life where I'm realizing that there's a lot of shit that I don't know. And there's a lot of shit that I can only pretend or hope to one day have an understanding of, or maybe never. And that there's a lot more that I can learn about the world, but also about things like acting. You know what I mean? I don't know everything. Like, I don't know everything. And that's been a really interesting thing, especially during the coronavirus, to like be kind of confronted with that and head on in a way. But I have to say that, yes, I'm a worker. And so I get up really early and I start working at something. I mean, I just randomly, I'll be like, I found a kid's old broken down kid's drum set in the basement. And I'm like, I need to fix this drum set. So it's like completely falling apart, but I get a roll of duct tape and I spend like 2-3 hours down there, like using duct tape and you know, I've lost a drum key. So I'm like with the needle nose pliers and I'm like taping and pasting, but I got it working and I played it for a little while and then I went upstairs. You know, I mean, I have to be doing those types of things. Now, that being said, I think that, you know, you're talking about the ukulele or talking about reading things. I think that we all put a lot of pressure on ourselves when this thing happened. This was a time when we were going to be like uber creative. And I think that what you can't really underestimate is that there's also a lot of stress that is surrounding this, and it's a deep, low level stress. And I think it's as inspiring to me as the protests are, it's also bringing up a lot of stuff, I think, for a lot of people, and as well as the coronavirus, as well as the news. And sometimes I just find myself just staring at the wall. You know, it's like I can't. even for somebody who is so like, I'm such a workaholic. Sometimes I just can't, I can't do anything. You know what I mean? I feel a little bit incapacitated, or I pick up my guitar and I should be practicing or I should be writing or whatever, and I just can't. So you have to sort of, I think we have to let ourselves off the hook to not write the great American novel during this time.
Right. I think that was something that I like kept saying. It was like basically the only piece of history I knew. Like when it started, I was like, well, the Black Plague led to the Renaissance. And then a month or two in, I was like, I'm not a Renaissance man. Kevin Bacon's a Renaissance man. It's not me.
Let someone else do the Renaissance work. I'll be over here on the internet.
Yeah, I survive. And then that's like the tale I'll tell. Have you got out into the city at all, Kevin?
Out in the city?
Yeah. I was there because I came home to Massachusetts, so I went this weekend just to pick up some stuff, and it was very different. I felt like kind of separated from everything, just being in my parents' house, and getting out in the city for the first time Saturday and Sunday was like, that was the first time where it hit me really like, oh, we are living in a part of history right now. Like it was the vibe in the city was so very different. Everything boarded up and shit like that. It was definitely a very unique experience that was like, I felt necessary.
Yeah, I've talked to a lot of people that have had that same, kind of experience, going back and coming out outdoors in the city. And listen, I mean, I've lived in New York since I was 17, and it's been a very, very important part of my life. And I dream of a day when it can, be back into its glory, and I don't know when that day will come. I've just recently read I'm in the middle of reading. It's very long. Protocol for how we might get back to work in my industry, in television film industry, and it's a pretty overwhelming kind of thing to get your head around.
Yeah, I'm sure it's not easy considering like how big of a production these productions are. How do you do it with all these? We just saw an article about a week ago that said they're going to start either writing it out altogether or doing CGI for any sex scenes. I mean, is that something that, like, as an actor, are you guys like that ruins it, or it doesn't matter to you, or let's those scenes are awkward anyway, let's get rid of them?
I don't know how you do that. I mean, I suppose if the other day I was picturing like you. A lot of times you use green screen. Obviously, they can, put things, not for sex scenes, but I mean, I picture that, that you'd be rolling around with, like an inflatable green doll, with somebody, it's a pretty horrific concept. So I don't know. I don't know.
Would you rather do something like that, or have a writer be like, we're just going to get rid of any like intimate scenes and there'll be like no romance or no like passion in this movie?
That's a really good question.
Give it a whirl.
I think it would depend. I mean, I think it would depend. I think that I just watched this show called Normal People, which was clearly done before the vibe. It's a fantastic
show.
Yeah,
unbelievable show.
It's so good, and it's so well acted, and there's a lot of intimacy in it, and it's handled extremely well, I think, like, and feels very, very, very real. And you look at something like that and you think it would really kind of be a tragedy. I mean, how could you make that show without
Right.
that piece of it? I mean, I think you could try, but it would be hard. So I'm not sure. I mean, I think that there's a lot of mystery to how life is going to start to, find some normalcy from this point on. But I know that I love content. I love to act. I love to. I'm a real consumer of the films and of television, and I think that in times like this of not only of tragedy like the coronavirus, but also of big, cultural change and revolutionary thought, these times need to be commented upon by the people that make art. And I'd like to think that not all the time, but some of the time, I'm involved in making some kind of art, and I hope that we can find a way to get back to being able to do that. I also think that people are going to be hungry for content. I don't know about you. It seemed like 2 months ago, the list of things that I wanted to watch was huge.
Yeah, not so much anymore.
Starting to chip away at it,
Yep.
and you starting to like, dip into, Real Housewives of Beverly Hills or something like that. You know what I mean? It's like things that you wouldn't necessarily be drawn to.
Do you think that this You Should Have Left comes out on video on demand? Do you think that this will be the future forever, even when theaters come back, that movies will largely go to video on demand?
Well, I think that, again, I mean, I love the live movie going experience, and I would hate to see that go away forever. That's what I became when I became an actor. Like, that was it. We used to go to really important movies that would come out, Star Wars or Apocalypse Now. There was the state-of-the-art theater was on 54th Street at Ziegfeld, and it had the amazing surround sound for the first time. And I remember the first time that I was sitting in the theater and heard the choppers coming over my head for Apocalypse Now. And I was like turning around like, holy shit, this is amazing. And to go into a dark room with a bunch of strangers and to have a shared experience with a piece of content like that, that's movies to me, and I would hate to see that go away completely.
I think it can be both, though, right? I mean, like I love that experience too, but I just had 2 small kids the past few years. I didn't get out much, and I would have paid full price and probably a premium on top of it to just have it right to my house. So I don't see why it can't be both.
I agree. I think it can be both, and I think for the time being, with You Should Have Left, we had always planned on it being a video on demand release. So when the pandemic hit, it just seemed like, well, this is our plan anyway.
Yeah,
I think it can be both. And I think it's been interesting to watch, because what happened was, in my memory, was that you had these movies, and the movies were the place where all the smart content was, and the Oscar movies, and and then television was kind of like guilty pleasure. It's like crappy half-hour things, and I mean, some of them were great, but a lot of it was news and sports and other things that you really wanted to stay home for. But when you wanted to go see something really serious, you went to the movies. And then that sort of started to shift over time, right? Mm-hmm. And then people started to expand what they wanted in content from a story, and see more expanded characters and more detail, and want to watch people again and again over a period of time. And then series, with whatever, I don't know what you would start it with, The Wire or Sopranos or something, became, all the grown-ups started liking to watch TV, and everything that was in the movie was just for the kids. It was comic books and cartoons, and I could see a shift sort of going in the other direction now, in a funny kind of way, because now they're willing to spend a ton of movie and money and you have like a platform like Disney, which is going to be the stuff that you don't take your kids to the movies. You know what I mean? You stay home, but maybe grown-ups are going to start going and wanting to see more, I don't know, elevated kind of material. I really don't know. What do I know? I'm just spitballing here.
I think you have a pretty good idea. If I was going to take someone's advice, Kevin Bacon would be up top of the list, I think.
You mentioned, people who do art need to be speaking out and talking about all this stuff. I don't know if you saw at the beginning of quarantine, a bunch of actors did their version of John Legend's Imagine. And then just the other day, there was a collection of actors who were kind of speaking dramatically about racism. And both times it was kind of panned by the internet and by fans as saying it's tone deaf. What do these guys know? Why are we listening to them? Do you feel like you're kind of it's like a lose-lose? Like if you don't say anything, you're being silent. And sometimes if you do say something, it's coming across as, acting or not real?
I think that people's hearts are in the right place, and I think that when you see something as serious as a pandemic and the fact that people are struggling, now we have a situation where people are going to struggle to be able to have food and be able to eat. Or when you see something like racial injustice being perpetrated again and again and again, if your heart's in the right place, you feel like you want to do something. I mean, I think that listen, they sometimes things come off well and sometimes they don't, and nobody's perfect, and we all have the capacity to make mistakes. But when I look at those things, I feel like the people who were involved in them and the feelings that they had, for the most part, their hearts were in the right place. I also think that, it's a difficult time. I mean, here I am, trying to hawk my wares with a movie. You have to do it with a certain kind of let's put it this way: you don't have to. I'm going to try to do it with a certain kind of sensitivity to what's happening in the world, and finding that balance is not an easy thing to do. And
it's not, but like you just did it perfectly 10 minutes ago. You said, "I thought I used to know everything, and now I'm learning I don't, and I'm just kind of listening and trying to be better about it." I mean, that was so genuine and real and honest, and I believe it. And why does it have to be a video and black and white and music? It's like, just do what Kev just did. It sounded great.
I hear you about that, but I also think that just like everybody else, I'm a heartbeat away from whatever, saying something stupid or So I think it's tricky. I also think that you have to keep in mind when you are people who are used to being out there and in the public eye. This is something that they're this is this kind of bizarre life that we lead, right? Where what we say takes on either an import that it maybe doesn't necessarily need to have so much, and the haters are going to hate. So,
amen, man. I hear that. Well, listen, thank you for the time as always. New movie You Should Have Left is out on June 18th.
And has one of the best hooks in the trailer I've ever seen. I don't know what you did, but I want to know so bad.
Yeah. When Amanda says, the jury said he didn't do it, but some people don't like him, I was like, oh, baby, let's go.
Yeah, there's actually a lot of there's a lot of good surprises. So I think there's things that, sometimes you cut a trailer and you go, well, they just showed me the whole movie. But we didn't show you the whole movie.
No.
Nice. Well, it's available on demand everywhere, so you don't have to go anywhere. You can watch it at home. Stay safe and check out Kevin Bacon's new movie, You Should Have Left, June 18th. Thank you, sir, as always. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, fellas. Good to see you.
Thanks, Kev. Great to see you.
Peace.